This is a HeadGum podcast.
What is it?
Okay, so I want to tell a story about when I was in Taekwondo. Okay, when I was...
Have you ever taken martial arts?
Yes,
I was obsessed.
Oh, you have?
I was obsessed.
Okay. I thought you were the only one with the story.
Oh, no.
No. Wait, you were obsessed. Can you tell your story before I tell mine?
You wanted to tell yours.
Well, no, how long were you involved?
I got up to brown belt, I think.
You got up to brown belt. Okay, cool. So
I was a white belt.
You're a white belt. Okay, good. Me too. So when you start,
The white belt's the starting belt.
When you start, they give you this white belt. Okay,
That's the starting belt.
And that's your white belt. You haven't placed anything, right? And my mom thought I'd be into it because I liked the Power Rangers. So
you should have.
So she signed me up for Taekwondo, and this is like the third day of it.
Okay,
and I was like. Kind of tired, like I was like, I was like a little tired, but I was like trying to do the reps. Okay.
Wait, tired just like in general? Like you were just tired that day?
Yeah, I was just like tired that day.
Okay.
But then the instructor hated that I was tired. He was like, I guess being a good...
Yeah, he wanted you to do what you were supposed to do.
Yeah, what your mom paid for.
I know, but I was like, I thought I was doing it, but then he remembered a time that he asked me if I was a baby, and I said, no, I'm not a baby. And so he
asked you if you were a baby?
He reminded me of that. He's like, I thought you said you weren't a baby, and I was like, what? But I'm not a baby. I'm just like a little tired today. And I don't remember
how old were you?
I had to be like 8. Maybe
This is
7.
a terrible story.
Well, this is the truth. This is what really happened.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like I was like, Mom, I can't go back to Taekwondo. Like my instructor hates me. And it was like the third day of Taekwondo, and to this day, I'm like, man, if only I could have kept doing that. Like I would be like a better person.
Why do you think you'd be a better person?
Well, because one thing I would have overcome being slightly hazed. Like that isn't even real hazing.
No.
Right? Like it's not even real hazing.
No.
It's not hazing at all.
Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit.
But obviously, when I was a kid, I felt like I was like.
Did you ever play high school sports?
No, God,
yeah,
no.
Of course not. Okay.
Oh, God, no.
I mean, no. I'm just saying.
No way you could have. No way.
That's nothing. I remember my freshman basketball coach, after we lost the game once, was like, y'all let them pull your pants down and put that dick in.
No, he didn't. No.
I am.
I wasn't ready.
100% serious.
Time out. I did not expect you to say
100% serious.
Your junior high school teacher?
My friends Mark Ramos and Liam Gordon can attest to this. We were sitting together on the bench trying so hard not to laugh as he basically described
I don't
rape.
know if he would have said that to me and I were on that team. I don't know if I would have cried and ran home. That sounds like
we were trying so hard not to laugh because we knew he'd yell in our faces.
First off, I wouldn't have cried laughing. I'd have been upset. It's like, hey, who are you talking to like this? Yeah, he said it out of anger, probably looking at each one of y'all in the eyes.
He was so angry.
He put your pants down. Your pants down. Your pants down. Your pants down. Hey, man, you better stop pointing at me.
I mean, my pants were on the whole time. My pants were on the whole time.
That is a legit terrible thing to have happen, man.
I agree.
I remember I tried. It's not as bad as that.
Right.
I remember I did Taekwondo, and where I lived, we didn't go to we didn't go to a dojo. It was in the gymnasium of this school in the area. So we went to Orr Elementary, and it was all kids of ages, and it was the black dude who studied karate. So
it was karate. Martin Lawrence's character.
It literally was just he's just the dude. He had a headband. He was in there teaching people. And the thing is, I was big into the video games and stuff. And Street Fighter was out, and Ryu had the white karate uniform, and he took the sleeves off, and I was like, "Oh man, I'm about to take my sleeves off."
Oh no!
Not knowing that's not allowed.
Oh no!
So I took my sleeves off, went to class.
Wow!
And literally, it's the thing. So they had you spar, you put the pads on. I got there a little late because I was cutting off the sleeves, and I was I was super excited.
You were late because you were vandalizing.
You were just cutting off the sleeves that early.
Yeah, I was cutting off the sleeves. because I had to do it after I got back from school. In between school and like class, I had to go home, change
with a knife, with scissors.
And it takes hard because you got to cut the seams. And when you small, your hand can't get through the fabric.
All right, we don't need this detail.
All right, here we go. And then all of a sudden we get in there, and the sensei looks at me as like in the middle. I put on my pads, and I had to like defend myself against like a green belt, which was higher than a white belt at the time. And then,
everything is higher than a white belt.
Hey, but can we talk
about he's a white belt and he went all the way up to brown belt, and I quit because my sensei said, "Are you a baby?" And I was like, "I can't."
But did we notice though that the starting belt is white and the belt you end with is black?
We
just did it. We just bought it full circle.
Okay, Nick, play the music, start the show.
Jonathan Braylock, James III, Jerah Milligan.
What more can I say?
You know what it is?
Black men can't jump.
In Hollywood. Black actors, man. Black actors. All right.
Welcome to Black Men Can't Jump in Hollywood.
Hollywood City.
Blah, blah, blah.
Hey James.
What's up?
Hey, I thought we talked offline about
Yeah, maybe
you.
stop doing it.
Thought you were going to do something else.
What?
Thought you were gonna stop.
I feel like it's getting real.
Okay, hold on,
people
wait.
That's an air horn?
Yeah, it was
Wow,
like
a
rap
an
air
air
horn.
horn. It was like
But that
a-
was like a rap air horn if played on a bugle.
Yeah, why don't you just do the air horn?
That was
man?
just.
No, just do the regular
Wait,
air
so when
horn.
you do brat brat, you go real hard with it, but when you do an air horn,
Okay, wait, hold
you're
on,
like,
wait. Then wait, should I say bram, 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 bram?
No, I don't want it.
No.
It's
See,
I
over.
don't like that.
This is Jonathan Braylock.
you can't do a little something, man. I'm disappointed.
All right, Jonathan Braylock here.
James III here.
Jerah Milligan here.
You want to introduce our guest, Jerah?
Okay.
We got a guest.
So we have a guest today. It's James and I's agent, Ken Lee from
Ken
Innovative
Lee.
Artists. Oh, but this is the special thing about Ken, though. Ken's Asian, y'all.
Here it is.
Ken's Asian.
Allegedly.
Oh,
Ken is allegedly
I love
Asian.
it. Like,
This is the special thing about this.
because we're going to be talking about Asian actors in Hollywood today.
Okay, so we're reviewing the film The Last Dragon.
The last
Oh, yeah.
Came out in 1985.
That was my idea.
That was Ken's
Yes.
idea.
First off, this is a good movie, though.
Yeah.
Show enough.
Show.
Show enough. There's a character who goes around and makes people say, "Who's the prettiest?" What? Like, you're supposed to be a hardcore fighter, and the one thing you want people to say is, "Who's the prettiest?"
Show enough.
Who's the baddest?
Show enough.
Okay.
Look, I love the podcast. I've been trying to be on this since Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh,
And,
my God. That's the beginning. That's
Well,
straight up beginning.
We are very glad you are here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just a little bit of backstory for those of you who don't know anything about this movie. It came out in 1985. It's like a cult classic, I would say.
It made a profit,
sure.
though.
It made $25 million off like a $10 million budget.
That's
Pretty good.
yeah, that's really dope.
That's pretty good for what that
Definitely
is.
a cult classic.
Yeah.
That's really good.
And, it's got like a 33% on Rotten.
See, now I don't believe in reviewing
Yeah, but
Rotten
all right,
Tomatoes.
you can't. I mean,
I
like,
don't
you
believe in
can't
that
trust a
stuff.
Rotten Tomatoes review of this movie.
I don't
And then
believe in that.
oh my God.
Look, I haven't thought of this movie in so long.
Yeah.
And then I listened to your podcast about Action Jackson and Purple Rain. And I
Right.
just remember, man,
Someone suggested
Vanity
this a
is
while
so
ago.
hot.
Somebody
Yeah.
suggested this a while
Someone
ago because
suggested
we were
this a while
talking
ago.
about black action heroes and
How do you say his
We
name?
also
Taimak?
needed the Vanity trifecta on the
Taimak?
podcast.
That's right.
Yeah, it is.
It's Taimak.
Taimak.
It's
Taimak.
It's Taimak.
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 First
That's
off,
his real name.
That's his real name, but
Yeah,
his
that's-
character's
That's his real name.
is
He's half black and half Italian.
There it is.
He did look mixed to me.
Bruce Leroy.
Bruce Leroy. Leroy Green.
He's playing his character's name is Bruce Leroy.
Bruce Leroy.
Okay.
I'm glad we got to experience this film together.
Yo,
You know,
listen, I like
it's
this
a
film.
blend of Asian and black,
It's a
just like
blend
in
of
this
it,
room
yeah.
right here,
Hold on,
right
just
now.
like
We're
this
going-
room. The blend.
Like this room.
Hold on, wait, but is this movie like is this like cultural appropriation in this movie? I mean, his name is Bruce Leroy. He even wears
Yeah,
the,
right.
Well, we're definitely going to talk about
We're going to
that.
talk about
Because I'm like,
Okay.
We're going to talk
Yeah.
about that.
I mean,
So basically the story is this dude, Bruce Leroy, I mean, he
wanna just
he
read
wants
it?
to try to find the master,
Yes. Because he's,
right? That's like the main
it's
quest.
his,
his main quest.
last stage.
It's
Right?
his last stage
His last dragon
for him to be a master is to find the master.
to help him become a master.
And then what also is happening is Vanity's character, what's her name? What's her name in the
Laura Charles.
Laura Charles is like this singer. Vanity's always some singer, and she's there's this bad guy. What's the bad guy's name? I don't remember anybody.
Yo, pull your phone.
I don't care.
Well, so Eddie
Arcadian is the video game.
Wow, his name is Eddie Arcadian.
Yeah, he's the video game king.
They could not get Danny DeVito at the time.
Arcadian.
This is the best.
Okay, so Eddie Arcadian wants Vanity to put his girlfriend on like her show because she has like a music video show basically, and
it's like
Vanity's
American
like no.
Yeah.
And then so basically he tries to force her to, and Bruce Leroy gets tangled up with that. And
But while that's happening, though, the Shogun of Harlem comes back.
Yeah.
Show enough.
The self-proclaimed Shogun of Harlem.
Show enough has heard that there's some guy out here catching bullets with his teeth, and he's like, I gotta beat this dude so I can be the baddest.
But
in the
wait,
land.
so
But he never actually did that.
Exactly.
Ever.
He did it in the movie.
Exactly. Well, so
No,
it was
at
just
the end.
it was a rumor. It was like
Yeah.
I heard a rumor that you caught a bullet with your teeth because they were just
just like the name Bruce Leroy, right, is like a thing. Like people are calling him Bruce Leroy, but like he doesn't go by.
He doesn't
Bruce
go by
Leroy,
it. No.
right?
His
Like
name is Leroy.
People are like,
His name
people are
is
like,
Leroy Green.
He's this guy. He can do all this, and like the lore is that he's
There's a
like
lore
this
around
amazing
him.
guy, but
Right.
like he hasn't reached that potential.
But he does want to be.
he does want to be that guy.
He wants to be a master. Yeah.
And he's so low key as a character. You wonder how Shonuff ever heard of him in the first place.
right.
Well, we see it in the film.
Well, yeah, we see.
All right, wait. Let's do initial thoughts first, and then we'll start going.
Okay.
You guys go first.
All right, I'm gonna go first.
Yeah, all right.
There you go.
Look.
There you go.
Ken going first.
I'm not under any illusion that this movie is great.
Okay, cool.
Hey, yo, first off, how you gonna start with that?
Yeah, why are you so mad?
No.
Ken is being.
I'm setting the tone for this but it is one of my personal favorites. I love this movie.
Did you see this movie when you were young?
All right, the whole backstory is, when I was 13, I discovered the Wu-Tang Clan, and I became completely obsessed.
Yeah.
And look, I never grew up Asian, and under whatever explanation that is, I pretty much grew up as white as anybody. But
Where did you grow up?
born and raised in Bayside, Queens.
Oh, in Queens, yeah.
And so I discovered the Wu-Tang Clan. It took 9 guys from Staten Island to make me think, oh my God, Asian culture is cool.
That's so. I mean, the irony of that.
I was like, what is
That
going
it
on
took
here?
black guys to adopt Asian culture for you, and then to like black culture.
Oh, yeah.
Adopting it.
I mean,
Yeah,
like
that's so interesting.
it's not the same thing, but
That's
it's kind of
that
like
fusion.
how like Eminem was like one of the avid rappers
Yeah, I
that
see
I
what you're
listen
saying. Yeah, I
to
see what
like
you're saying.
frequently. Like
Right.
it's this weird like what's happening?
Yeah.
Why?
Look, all your
Yeah.
Asian listeners right now, you can send the hate mail to one of these 3 and pass on. Because here's the thing. Look, I think I'm a cultural enigma just because of that. I don't think I really identified as Asian my whole life.
Yeah.
I really haven't. And so, yeah, the Wu-Tang Clan. And then when I saw this whole other level, it's just this movie was, I thought at the time, really great.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that? Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
at all. You going? Let me go.
Well, I mean, I guess I can go. I this movie was so much fun. Like, again, also I'm like, I guess it's not a great movie, right? Like in the sense of like, it's not Citizen Kane, but so much fun. I love
Somewhere between Citizen
Kane and like the worst movie ever.
Citizen Kane.
The Room.
And The Room. It's somewhere between Citizen Kane and The Room. But a lot of fun. It's so 80s.
This
It is
could only exist in the 80s.
Yeah, it's like
Only.
it's a great 80s like cartoony kind of like this movie with like, I don't know. I had a lot of fun watching it.
See, it's so funny you even say cartoony because I felt like this movie was taken with the utmost seriousness. Like,
Yeah.
like because this is at a time when like blaxploitation was still like kind of profitable or kind of on the it was on like the downward like decline. And this movie isn't blaxploitation, but it's definitely a film that is steeped in like black culture and Asian culture, because there's always been that blend of like with Wu-Tang Clan, of like people idolizing like Bruce Lee. It's either you loved Bruce Lee or Scarface. You know what I'm saying? At one point it was like you picked which route you're about to be.
Yeah, and I never idolized Bruce Lee or anything like that. You know, I didn't really watch martial arts movies, and then I discovered them later on in life.
Bruh, man, you give me some Rumble in the Bronx all day. I say this, I like this movie because I just remember it. I remember this movie very vividly growing up. I don't remember ever like, I don't remember sitting down to watch it.
You remember The Last Dragon?
I remember this movie. Like, I remember when someone suggested it a couple of months ago. Because the thing is, even, I think a lot of people, if you haven't seen this movie, if you think back to, if you Google, like, Busta Rhymes is it Delirious? Dangerous. Yeah. Busta Rhymes Dangerous. There's a part in there where, like, he's, you know, it's supposed to be like Lethal Weapon, and he's a white guy, but when he walks in the room, like, Show Nuff is there, who is also him. So, like, this movie is so steeped in, like, black culture. It's crazy. And, dude, there was a black dude who wanted to fight karate. Like, he was innocent. He loved his family. He loved Vanity. Like, he was so pure of heart. It was just so crazy. And then Show Nuff was the dude who walked around with, like, practice pads on under his, like, outfit. It's like, dude, this dude is ridiculous.
But, you know, even this movie is a referendum on how Asians are portrayed.
Yeah.
Look, he's black, but, you know, he lives his life like an Asian guy. Right, and with all the cliches and stereotypes that comes with, and even as a love interest, he's just awkward, and he's awkward around Laura Charles.
Doesn't understand women. This movie is very weird for me because there are moments in this movie where I was like, I'm positive that this is the worst film I've ever seen. Like, not even like the worst film I've ever. Like,
you may be right and you may be wrong.
There are moments in this film where I was like, I don't know how I'm going to watch this entire movie. And then there were other moments in this film I was like, that was genuinely really, really good. And I actually loved all of the Asian actors in it, weirdly enough. Like the guy, his friend, who like pretended that he knew he was like, yeah, I like know martial. He's like, no, you know what? My style of fighting is I don't know how to fight, but people are scared of Asian dudes. And so like all I have to do is make a couple of sounds and they'll be scared. And he's just like, right. And so he was like making fun of the fact that people make those sounds or whatever. But then the movie makes those sounds. I was like, what? It was like so weird. Like this movie was so like self-aware at times, and then other times they were like, also, we don't care, we're gonna do the same thing that everybody else does.
Well, they also were making a martial art. I mean, that's what I'm saying. The type of film they were trying to make, it was like, I mean, you can't have it.
But also, I don't know.
Not to get ahead of the format, but he's a swirl candidate for later.
I mean, okay, this movie starts out really basic, like very much martial arts kind of.
Did you watch, before you get into this, I hear the way you're saying this, have you ever watched like a martial arts film before?
Yeah, I watched.
Did you like them?
I love, I mean, yes, I do. But like they're appropriate for their time, and it's harder, you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't want a martial arts film made today to be like the ones made when Bruce Lee was making them or when Jackie Chan was making them. You know what I mean?
Because the reason I said it, because this film, when I watched it, this film reminds me, I could tell exactly which movie they were trying to. Yeah. Because what Barry Gordy does sometimes is like Barry Gordy will take like a famous like.
So Barry Gordy produced this film.
Yeah, he'll take a famous white movie,
famous Motown,
and make it, not make it black, but he would make it like, he put a reimagining on it, if you will, like he did, Wizard of Oz, The Wiz. You know what I'm saying? Lady Who Sang the Blues, like all these other things. This movie distinctly reminds me of Enter the Dragon. So much so that I think even at one point Bruce Leroy wears the yellow jumpsuit.
He wears the yellow jumpsuit.
Well, they play.
They have the clips.
They play so many clips of it. It's like it's not reminding you of it. It's like wanting to imitate it.
Yeah, it's like, so to me it's like, it's almost like they wanted to, I don't even say it's pay homage, but almost like, I felt like they wanted to be really respectful to it, but put people in it.
It's a total homage.
It is. They 100% paid homage to that movie.
But I don't. But I'm just saying. To me, it wasn't. I don't think it was. It was done sometimes in an artistic way, but a lot of times in a very like, I'm just gonna mimic the thing that I like and like make it my own, but in a way that just felt like you're just copying and pasting. You're not doing anything with it. Oh, like the beginning of the. That's what the only reason I'm saying that is because sometimes the movie's very self-aware. The beginning of the movie is very much like he's there's a fighting homage. Actually, the beginning of the movie is him just doing kicks over like
He had to prove
a
he could
black
fight.
screen.
Had to prove he could fight.
And then like seeing chopsticks being used. Can anybody explain what that was?
well, first off, he was like,
Was that, I was like, is this a
arrows.
comedy? But like in the beginning of the movie, you see him like doing kicks and
You're
stuff,
right.
and I'm like,
There's
this
a weird
is cool.
intercut
and then
of
there's a weird
chopsticks.
intercut
Yes.
of like a hand using chopsticks. And I'm like, is this a
so
joke?
No, that's so you just never forget this is a martial arts
I
movie.
was like, they're trying to make sure you know. Hey, just so you know, we're doing some Asian culture in this movie.
And then like his character, the kid was only like 19 when he made this. He's super young.
yeah,
It was like
And
basically like an open call too. For
yeah, it
him.
was.
Yeah, and
It
he's
was.
like he's a black. Yeah, he's not an actor.
Well, he was. The thing is, like, So if you're at home, there's a series called. Oh my god! I just told. What was it? Just in the car. We were just talking about it in the car. But then the Centric has a series, and it basically finds people who like were big in the 80s and stuff like that, and it follows them and see like what happened to their career,
Career
like
as
where they
actor?
are. No. I'm gonna Google it. I literally just was talking about it before we got here, which is crazy. But he is on an episode, and he was saying that when he made this movie, he couldn't get a role because he was an actor. He couldn't get another role because he was like, there were no, like, no one knew what to do with like a black kung fu guy. They were like, there was no.
Wait. Time out. He couldn't get a role after this movie.
He said he couldn't get stuff unspoken. Damn it, I gotta look it up. But he was like
he couldn't get any roles
he could-
after this. He was the lead
After
of this
this.
movie.
Yeah, I'm saying, 'cause
Barry
he was like, no one knew what to do
feature
with him.
film, but he couldn't.
But what
get
I'm
another
saying
role.
is he was an actor before this.
No, he was an
I don't
aspiring
know.
actor. He just did martial arts.
Oh, I thought
Yeah,
he
but
did
he was
martial arts
19 years.
first. Yeah.
He was 19 years old. He was a black belt.
Yeah, no, I mean he
martial-
can't be just because I'm 19. I mean I can't be an actor. I mean I can be.
Okay, what I'm
Right,
saying
right.
is
Well,
I don't know
I
how
know
how
Braylock's
much
saying.
acting
Oh, you mean like a
experience he's-
professional
Yeah.
actor? I mean he was trying.
He was a martial
an
artist
aspiring.
first, and then this thing happened, and then I think he then pursued it in a real way, and he
Yeah.
couldn't find any roles.
Right.
But look,
Okay.
it's-
I mean, I don't think he was very good in this movie.
well,
I'm just gonna
that's the
say
thing.
that.
He looks the
I
part.
think he
He can do
wasn't good in
everything.
this movie.
I say
Yeah.
it was good. Don't get it
So it's
twisted.
not,
I ain't
it's
saying it was
but
good.
I mean, like he can go ahead and say, I don't know, people didn't know what to do with a black martial artist. I would say people don't know what to do with a bad actor.
People didn't know what to do with Steven Seagal.
Yeah, but
First
like-
off,
but
Steven
yeah,
Seagal,
so
All right, fair enough.
Steven
that's the
Seagal is one of the
Fair
worst
enough.
martial artists and actors of all time.
Right, and
And
he
yet
was-
he still makes movies today.
He was good at what he was
I mean,
supposed to do
that's
in
true.
this, right?
I-
like
He fit
people
the
love
part.
Steven Seagal.
He fit the part.
He
in this
fit the
movie.
part very
Looked
well.
the part.
Yeah.
Didn't have to be great because
Right.
you know,
He just had to be a kid
and-
who like was very
Shy.
I mean, he
Also, like,
seemed
yeah,
like
exactly.
he was on the spectrum a little bit.
also,
though.
his kid.
Oh,
wait,
no.
no,
Oh,
no,
no.
but
For real,
no,
I'm not even.
no.
Honestly,
I think-
I'm not
no.
even making a joke. There was
No.
there was a genuine moment in this movie where I was like, "Are we supposed to believe that he is like mentally challenged in
no.
some way?"
I think
No.
it goes back to him portraying a shy Asian-esque character.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, I don't think he was ever slow.
like.
But like his brother's like, "Yo, you odd man. You're
Yeah, well,
weird,
because-
dude."
but he was a
because
black dude in the Harlem.
It was a
Right,
way of
who was-
life for
who
him.
was-
like, he
it was
like-
a way of life.
he like didn't respond normally to any situation.
He was
Right.
different. No,
Like
but then-
people would be
but he
like,
had-
he was
"Yo, what's
different. He
wrong
was
with you?"
different.
And
But he
he'd be
had- but he
like-
had the
He'd be
whole-
like, "I need to find the master," and you're like, "Dude, who are you?"
Oh, by
You're
the way,
19 years old in Harlem.
I think you got
the
the
brother. How good is that brother?
Oh, that brother
that
is
brother is.
fantastic.
He was
Yo,
so funny.
Since we brought him up,
Please talk about
Leo
it.
O'Brien is amazing.
His
in
name
this.
is Leo O'Brien.
Yes, and
That kid.
and
Oh my god.
he like didn't do much of anything after this.
Oh, that's-
and the whole
and he,
movie.
and he died young. By
And he
the
died
way.
young. He died like he
no.
was 41 years
41
old.
years old.
Oh, my
and
God.
and I was watching this movie going, this kid's amazing. He
He's-
must have grown up to be somebody.
He's
And then I, like-
amazing.
And then I looked up on IMDb and I was like, oh, he has 3 other credits. Like it's insane. And like had he
Now that's
been
insane.
No, right. I mean, right.
Because he's so good at
Because
this
he's
movie.
so good in
He's
it.
so
I mean,
funny.
James, I thought the exact same thing. I was like, wait a minute. He must have had a career. And I
Must have.
just didn't put 2 and 2 together that he was this character.
Exactly.
But you're right.
Nothing.
Nothing.
It's funny.
So
Oh yeah, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, just for people who haven't seen the movie, like, he's Leroy's brother, who like you meet when Leroy first comes. By the way, Leroy comes home.
What?
He like jumps through a window while his family's eating dinner, and literally none of them react. Meaning, this is how he comes home. and I was like, why?
Because the brother mentions it later on. He's like, yeah, man, he up on the roof again. We can't. Like, he's like, he on the phone talking to somebody. He's like, yeah, man, I can't eat. He up on the roof. That brother is like the oldest young dude of all time.
The brother's only like 12 years old, and you're supposed to believe like, and he's like, and Leroy's like, you have to take me to. He's doing.
But that's the thing.
You have to take me to see this girl, and the brother's like, man, you don't know what to do with that girl if you got her.
But see, that's the thing. He's like,
he's acting like he's 30.
in any early Dakota Fanning movie, you look at Dakota Fanning and you go, she's a grown woman,
100%,
trapped in this little girl's body. Yes. And you look at this guy and you're like, this is exactly what happened. This is a grown man trapped in this little boy's body. It was amazing. It's amazing.
And the thing
Get your hands out, my woman.
Yeah, at one point, he is so disrespectful. He's like, look at his brother, see his brother kiss him. Oh man, you know what? He walks out. I'm going back in there. He can't just take my woman. And he's like just so aggressive. And I'm like, yo, this dude is so, and he's so little. He's such a little dude.
But Bruce Leroy completely adopted the way I think, we think Jackie Chan speaks. He's like, that is her.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
It was.
Yes, Leroy talks like as if he doesn't know English sometimes.
Right.
Like
He
it's
does.
weird. It's very and it's like a. I don't know. It's like a faux innocence. I really don't like the acting. I think it's him. I don't think it's the.
One of my favorite parts.
I do like this idea that he's adopting those types of characters, but like that's an American. That's like an American kung fu movie. Because Bruce Lee, when he was doing before he became super popular, he was doing kung fu movies that were just Hong Kong films. They weren't.
Yeah, I mean,
they weren't freaking.
In the world of this movie, he is an anomaly, and because everyone else around him, it's the exact time that this takes place, right?
Yeah.
But he just seems to be just a different character.
They showed him. I think this movie purposely had shots of him walking the streets of Harlem just to see how he dressed.
Oh, he's by the way, yeah, we have to talk about that.
Like,
he has a huge hat. What are those hats called? They're like the hats that farmers wear and like rice paddies.
Yeah.
Like
It's so funny in the movie
and
theater.
he ate popcorn with chopsticks.
Yes. Okay. So in the movie theater, right?
Oh my
he's eating the popcorn with the chopsticks
because Asians only eat popcorn with chopsticks.
Can we just say that again? He's eating popcorn
with chopsticks.
You've never done that?
But like, and then again, I laughed, and then I was like, does this movie know that's a joke?
Well, see, that's the concept.
But yes, right. But it is kind of right because they're like,
I think it is.
Because in it they're looking at him and they're like pointing up how that's when we first call him Bruce Leroy, right?
So,
in that scene, and even that is
basically
a joke.
they're in this movie theater, and it's like it's like in Harlem. Everybody's watching a Bruce Lee film, even though it's the '80s, right? It's like an old film, but everybody's watching a Bruce Lee film. Everybody's like, yeah, Bruce, get him, Bruce. And
they're loving it. They're talking out loud
at the movie. Clearly, everybody's seen this movie like 1,000 times already. And then shown up. So you could talk about this are the first introduction of Shonup's character.
By the way, let's get one thing straight. Also, the little brother is the only one who thinks he's just the weirdest person in the world.
Yeah.
Everyone else just
thinks he's cool.
Yeah,
right.
Leave him alone.
All right.
They know that guy in the front row is the master.
His mother and his father are like. Tell the little brother like, hey, leave him alone.
Yeah. Be cool.
I was like, his father's just real cool with his son, just being
that little
just
brother
acting like he's Chinese.
Didn't the brother at one point say he should be on the short bus? And like that brother was so.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
that
saying.
Brother went at him so
And
hard.
then, like the brother kept going. I was like, wait, I think he should be on the short bus.
But that's the thing. I think like that's why
the mother and the father don't yell at him. They're like, he's a little slow.
Well, but it's not that he actually is a little slow.
I feel like he's a little slow.
I don't think he's slow, man.
No,
he's not
I
supposed
think
to be
he's
slow.
just a little bit slow.
And they're like, let him do his thing.
I think is that he's so devoted to this specific thing, and like
for what reason? We never know.
It's his way of life.
It's his way of life, right?
Way of life.
Well, people love certain things. Just love certain things.
But so in that scene, the thing that I love so much about it though is that like he's there, he's eating the popcorn with the chopsticks.
Yeah.
and he has like just this look of like he's loving the movie.
Loving the movie.
Shonuff has bursted in and has screamed through his whole like thing. He's done his whole routine, right? And
Everybody's looking at him
everyone's
except
looking,
for
him. Bruce, yeah, he's just sitting. He's still
Nothing
sitting
else
there.
exists in his world. He's just
watching.
can't-
He's watching.
childlike glee.
Watching Bruce
And
Lee.
then
He's like,
they're
who's
talking
better than me?
about him. They're like Bruce Lee right
Because
over there.
some dude's like, that dude, he's better than you.
He's still looking at the movie.
But the thing that's so cute because I feel like every time you talk about my man Shonuff, you got to go through.
Oh yeah, you got to go through.
You
it.
got to go through it.
gotta
He
go through it.
busts in the door. Am I the meanest?
Shonuff.
Am I the prettiest?
Shonuff.
Am I the baddest mofo low down around this town?
Shonuff.
And then the dude plays. And the thing that's so funny about that is he has this chant that is crazy to me is that this dude has on shoulder pads, bro. Like
He looks
literally-
like he came out of the Beat It music
yeah,
video.
like nothing
Yes.
about him makes sense.
Yes.
Yo.
He looks like
nothing.
Rick James wearing like Michael Jackson's clothing.
He has his other lackey, the black dude, who literally is who
It's so
literally
80s. Oh,
is so
God.
80s. And the thing is, he doesn't say much when he does talk. Oh man, wah! Like that's literally how the little black dude talks. And I'm like, what is this character, yo?
And literally his
But
entire...
he's got such a diverse gang too.
Oh,
Of
yeah,
men,
he does. Yeah.
women,
does.
some white,
yeah,
some women, white women,
Diversity, even in
black,
the 80s.
Asian.
We
And
knew.
It seems like literally his entire motivation throughout the entire film is to just because one little kid in a movie theater said he's better than you. From that moment on, Shonuff's like, I need to fight this guy and beat him in a fight.
Well,
That's
because
how
you
it
can't
works. That's
have
how it is.
exactly. He
what
wants
do
to
you
be,
mean that's
That's how it is.
He wants to be. He wants to be
James,
the
break it
only
down.
one.
Hold
He
on,
wants to be
break it down.
the
I'm gonna set you
only.
up. Hold on, wait,
Okay.
you ready? You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I want you to break down, okay? Want you to break down what that means, okay, in the community.
Okay,
all right?
I'm saying
the community?
I'm saying if
On
you're a
that block.
Shogun of Harlem, okay,
Shogun.
and you
can't
got
live a
the
lie.
glow.
You got the glow.
What?
This kid
You
can't have a glow.
Come on, you can't have this other kid with like, oh, you got a glow. You catching bullets with your teeth. You can't have that.
Not if you the Shogun.
Not if you the Shogun of Harlem.
'Cause he can't have his chant, right? He can't be the
He
meanest
can't have the
mofo
chant.
in this town.
It's not true.
He can't,
the
the
chant.
chant is not true now. He
That
is now
poor
a liar.
chant. You can't say it.
Okay.
I respect
But
Shonuff
then-
for not wanting to be a liar.
But so it's so funny because then
John the Braylock is not buying any of this. by the way.
it's fine. You don't have to, JB.
It's fine. It's fine. Great.
But wait, but then,
Let's move on.
but then this was my favorite part.
Cops
So
don't exist in this universe,
the
by the
whole
way.
time he's
Zero
not.
police ever. And they just never show up.
Because they didn't
of
police
course
the
not,
community.
because they're in charge.
No, at this point, this is when the community was policing the community, man.
Yeah.
This is the 80s.
That's what I'm talking about. When cops was even killing you, you had to do it yourself. And Shonuff was out here handling
I
shit
mean,
himself, bro.
I'm saying.
Like,
Handling-
he was,
I'm saying you had to do it yourself.
He was handling shit
It's
himself.
1985. You gotta do it
I
yourself.
mean, he was in here running shit, man.
You gotta. When you can't trust the police, you gotta be the police.
Let me
All right, I
see
get it.
2016
You know
and me
what?
see a black dude with a throat and shoulder pads walking down the street.
didn't
I'm
look
gone.
like Shonuff was committing any crimes either.
No.
No, he was just.
Until he messed up
ruining people's
he
families.
messed
No,
up
he was
the
just-
restaurant. He messed
Yeah.
up the restaurant.
But that's afterwards.
And he was
when-
beating up people in public in a movie
Wait,
they
theater.
came
wait,
at
wait.
him. They came at him first.
At
They
the
came
end of the
at him.
movie
No.
theater, they were like, we're going to come at...
No. In the movie theater, when we first meet him, he's like, "I'm the baddest. Who wants to see me?" And people start
And then
running
people
towards
started
him.
going towards him,
And then
yeah.
he, as
Yeah.
a man, protects himself, and he like starts whooping some pootang. Okay,
Some poop.
I've been in rock. I've been listening to like
Yeah.
a lot of the Rock's old promos. My fault. I mean,
Wu-Tang is like...
he says that he's like Pootang Pie. I used it wrong. That's my
Yeah,
fault. I
you
was
used
thinking
that wrong.
Wait,
I was
that is
thinking
not
of-
what Wu-Tang
That was
means.
very wrong.
But he does start kicking butts, as it were, because
Right.
people they come at him.
I mean, maybe this is a good point, though, to talk about the fusion of black culture, African-American culture, and Asian culture, because there are all these black people in this movie watching a Bruce Lee movie, and they all love it. They're all like, woo!
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just that we talked about this last time, too, for when we were talking about Rush Hour, but the African-American culture, there was like, they consumed martial arts films more so than any other demographic in the United States. And it was like Hong Kong was like making all those films, and then they were shipping it over to America, and black audience in like inner city urban audiences were eating them up.
Can I tell you a philosophy some older guy told me? Or he didn't tell me, but I heard him say in the barbershop
Mm-hmm.
once. He brought up martial arts films, and he brought up mob movies, Scarface in particular, and he was like, the thing about those movies, and this is just not saying it's factual, but he was like, the thing about it that made him so palatable is that it was a movie about a man, like whether it was Bruce Lee or Scarface, a man who came from like nothing or whatever, trained himself to take on whatever it was. Like Bruce Lee might have taken on like the entire whatever. Scarface took on like cops and all drug lords, and sometimes they come out victorious, but it was like one man can change everything. And that's what kind of the hope it gave people. Was like, oh yeah, man, fight back, yeah, do that thing. Whereas like a lot of black people at that point in time did not have that kind of power in real life, so it was like they almost saw that as a fantasy of like what people wish they could have. I mean, that may be true, but
I mean,
that's so. I was reading an essay that was talking about that. That's like the thing that people go to first. And this essay was also saying we shouldn't underestimate just the fact that African Americans wanted to step away from Western culture in general, like Western European culture in general, but they didn't have enough of their own culture on screen. So they consumed Asian culture because they were like, this isn't Western culture. Like, this is something that we can respect and idolize. Like, the idea of being powerful, but like also restrained.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like that's what the whole Martin Luther King kind of movement is about, right? It's like, we will not stand for something that's wrong, but we also like show restraint and not fight unless we have to, right?
Yeah,
like that's Martin did
something
whole
that
thing. It's like, I'm only going to fight until like, I'm not going to fight until it's the last.
Yeah. There was something in this that I really liked when they were in the dojo and they were reciting. They said something like, God help me if I ever have to use my art.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that's it right there, right? Like, it's like you have this thing and you have this ability, but you don't use it until
and he didn't want to fight Shonuff, in that first encounter.
Yeah.
Right.
So he doesn't fight
In the
Shonuff
dojo.
in the movie theater. Then Shonuff comes to his dojo and basically like, just talks trash to him, forces him to like kiss his Converse.
Yeah. And but then even that,
Kiss my Converse.
but even that, it's like,
Chuck's on. Respect the Chucks.
he like almost, I think it's in that, like he doesn't even lift a hand until someone starts to hit him, right? And he like grabs the hand, and it's just like he the restraint that he is using, and that is like,
It's supposed to be self-defense.
Yeah,
It's like-
yeah.
but hold on, but because we keep talking about this movie, and I understand this movie is like paying homage and it's paying respect to Asian culture. I guess my question is, especially nowadays, it's always these things of like, when does it become like an homage and when does it become like cultural appropriation, right? Like, is this movie in violation of like any type of like like, I'm just because his name
well, the thing is, I think this is the thing that the more I talk about cultural appropriation, and this is just my opinion, I think it's always that, right? Like, it's always appropriation, and then it's just how you feel about, you know what I mean? Like, it's
I hear what you're saying.
What about the acknowledgement? Because I feel like sometimes when people how about this? Like, sometimes with cultural appropriation is like, oh, we love this particular thing that this culture does, but we don't give respect to the fact that we got it from them.
Right, yeah.
Whereas,
Which
like,
is, that's the negative
yeah,
side
it's a negative.
of it, right?
But if it's like, appreciation, it's like, oh, we love these martial arts films. We love these things. We want to do this, but we also know where we got it from.
Yeah, I mean, there was something in this
trying to learn the
too.
difference.
I don't even know how connected to any truth it is, but there's the point when really early in the movie when he bows down to his sensei when he thinks that something's wrong, and then he goes, "Someone's been watching too many movies." He does say that. He says this thing of like, "That's not a thing. That's only a thing that you are used to seeing." And
He said, he's like, you think the master's upset with you, and so
you're bowing down, but like, you don't have to, you don't have to do that, which was a thing that I thought was cool. That felt more like
that's what you were saying about being self-aware at times in this movie.
Yes.
And later on, when he's going on a trip, we think it's some crazy, sojourn, but he's going to Miami to see his mom. And
yeah.
he makes
Oh my god, that was so funny.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, you're gonna go learn, seek out like wisdom in the world. And he's like, I'm gonna go visit my mother in Miami.
I mean, I feel like, yeah, man.
I was like,
You know what? But this movie, it wears its influences on its sleeve, and I really thought it showed a lot of love for martial arts and Asian culture. But here's the thing: Asian culture is not just one thing either.
Exactly.
Right.
That's my only thing. That's my whole thing about it. It's like it's
All of a sudden,
cultural
I'm an expert somehow. Right? In this hour, I'm the expert.
but that is part of it,
But
right?
yeah, culture. I mean, it's not. It's you're we're basically making Asian cultures only martial arts. Like, no,
Right,
definitely not.
right. And
but that's the thing that he's doing. He's, you know what I mean? That's the thing that he loves about it and he's focused on.
But at no point do they say.
But I also,
At no point does the movie say like this is what it means to be Asian.
Yeah, and
but it
also-
says like this is what it means to. I don't know.
they talk about martial arts, but they also show like if Bruce Leroy is supposed to be like the black take on like an Asian character, they make sure this guy does feel vulnerable at certain points. They do. They I feel like they try to make sure that like it is not super stereotypical about like what Americans believe Asians to be like. I think,
how?
Because the thing is, like in this movie, when he talks about the philosophies and stuff of martial arts and what it teaches, it's about like him being calm, him showing restraint, him being respectful. Like it shows qualities.
But that's the stereotype.
But this is what I'm saying is that this movie doesn't simply just have him like whooping ass just to whoop ass. It doesn't have him doing things to do things. To me, it's okay if he's showing respect to his mom because it's like, when does that become like right now we're being so nitpicky because it's hard to differentiate.
Here's
like,
here's a difference, I think, and this is the interesting thing about black and we haven't even talked about the fact that Asians adopt black culture too, right?
But here's the thing. Here's why I don't think it's cultural appropriation is because it's steeped in martial arts and people want to teach martial arts to everybody.
Yep.
And this guy just adopted this way of life. I know I keep saying that phrase, but he really did. I mean, obviously he took it to an extreme for a movie, but
no, but that was Bruce Lee's
that's what
whole
it
thing
is.
about coming to America. Coming to America. That was his big thing about coming and teaching in America and why he got in so much trouble is because he said everyone should learn these teachings and people were upset with him. And it's like, yeah, it's supposed to be for everybody to learn. So it's like the mere fact this black dude adopted that doesn't seem so bad. I mean, I guess it's tough. It doesn't seem so bad because he wasn't disrespectful in my sight.
He showed the culture a lot of love.
That's what I thought,
and
right?
he showed martial arts a lot of love.
But what you gonna say?
Right. Which, I mean, but I think that's what James is talking about too, like because white people could adopt black culture and show black culture a lot of love, but there are still
but we would still be like
members in the African American
stop that, you
community
can't.
who don't like it.
Yeah.
I think not everybody does, but there are some. I mean, that's the whole thing with Eminem. It was like Eminem grew up the same way that everybody else around him was growing up.
Yeah.
Like didn't have, you know what I mean? Like was poor, didn't have a father.
And he was somebody who, even though he was like, I know what I'm doing, he would openly say that, but he was also someone who paid homage to other people and like respected.
See, that's what I
he
think it is.
respected rap, like.
But there are still people who have a problem with him.
Well,
Right.
some people have a problem with him just simply because he's white, which
That's
we
what I'm
get.
saying.
But what I'm saying is, but when it comes down to like whether Eminem himself like culturally appropriated like black culture, I don't think that's a thing because when he, like you said, he grew up a certain way, and the fact that he acknowledged what this culture did to him and how, if you think about, I always say giving back. Eminem, for instance, has helped and is like not just taken from black. People always talk about the Kardashians, for instance, right? Because they, do a lot of things that are culturally appropriated, but when people say, do they give back to like the people they take from?
Right.
Eminem has a track record of helping out, of giving back, which I think is different, man. When you
so it's that
acknowledge-
thing of like, what's your motive and like, are you just doing this thing because like, oh, I like that, so I'm gonna take that, or is it like, oh, I respect this, so I'm gonna take that.
Yeah, I think
I respect this, so I want to participate.
Yes,
in that.
participate in it is different.
I still think, though, at the end of the day, it's all. The only reason we're trying to say that it's not cultural appropriation is because that has a negative connotation to it.
Right.
But the actual, like the literal definition, I think it is still appropriating culture, but it's just like the way in which you do it. Some may, like feel like, okay, this is okay though because you're giving it respect. You're giving back to the culture that you're taking from, and that kind of thing. And it happens both ways, especially in specifically the black and Asian cultures. Like there are, the whole, I mean, Koreans like take from black culture a lot, right? There's those, that whole like hip hop dance crews and what was that show that was?
Which one?
America's
Best Dance Crew.
It was just like that fusion of like,
my
here's
girlfriend and
you know what I
loved
mean?
That show.
I mean,
James,
they were great.
James is in a relationship with like he's black. His girlfriend is Asian.
Yeah, my girlfriend is half Chinese.
So the other dichotomy that I just wanted,
She's beautiful and like we love each other and it's great.
why are you talking
And,
about that?
and my wife is half Puerto Rican.
Got so many
Here's a
swirls
funny
up in
story
here.
that just happened. I was at a career day for one of my best friends. His name is David Hollander. He's a great teacher at Williamsburg Prep, and this school is mostly minorities, and they never think about my job or my career as any sort of real career path. I don't think they've ever known what a talent agent does, or they've even heard about a talent agent. And in the second class, they were just not listening and not having it at all. Until one of the students asked me, how do I juggle my personal life with work? And then I thought, all right, this is a moment for me. So I dropped that. Yeah, I'm married. I'm married to a Puerto Rican woman, and that just. There was initial confusion, and then all of a sudden the class was like, all right, you're in. It's good. You're in.
Right. It's that thing of like,
oh, man. Wait, speaking of you're in, like, we had to talk about that scene. There's, again, another scene that I really loved. This was a scene where I felt like Moose being self-aware, where they had the three Asian dudes outside of the fortune cookie shop.
Yes.
And first of all, they're talking like, man, what's wrong with you, brother? They're talking jive. They're talking jive. And they're like, man, you ain't down. Like, you, man. And he's like, please, I must talk to them. It's literally the weirdest scene where you have this black dude who's talking as if he's Asian. You have these three Asian dudes talking as if they're black, and they're like
black from the 80s.
Black from the 80s.
Black from like not even the 80s, like the 70s. Like they're talking like they're from the late 70s, and
they're dressed, and the Asian guys are dressed so New York, like late 70s with the leather, like sleeveless, like vest, the sheer undershirt. It's like, yo, they're just out here living.
But they're so funny. They're just like, dude, who are you? Like, we're not letting you in to see the master. Like, are you kidding me?
Weren't they playing craps or something at one point?
Yeah, they're playing craps. They have a boombox. The dude had a boombox with him.
And they had a whole choreographed dance routine at the beginning.
Yes. They were doing the most.
And basically at the end, like Leroy like tries to like dress up to, as a pizza delivery man to get in. And they immediately are like, you're that dude from before. We know who you are. Like,
we were here when you were here.
I don't know what you think this is.
He tried to practice. Remember outside, he tried to. What made that scene so silly is he tried to practice the black voice.
He was like, yo, man.
He tried it three different ways.
And then came in and did it in his own voice.
Three different ways.
He's like, I like to see the master.
He perfectly sounded like someone else.
His voice is so soft.
And they're like, no,
get out of here.
Get out of here. They trick him. And then he kicks down the door. And they're like, all right, dude, look, there is no master. We just pretended that there was so we could sell more fortune cookies.
It's a machine, man.
To these dumb white people.
Yo, but do you know what? This one thing I said that I loved about this movie.
Oh, by the way, fortune cookies are just a complete Western invention.
Yeah, exactly.
I heard that.
That's the whole.
Of
course they are.
I heard that, man. That's crazy. No, I'm saying because I watched this. It was like some show on like how this get made, and it was on fortune cookies, and I was like, oh wait. People just made this shit up?
Yes, but that's the thing is that this, to me, that's
Marketing.
the whole thing. It's like, but like, it's not just black people. Like, Americans are just eating up this like fake Asian culture of like, ooh, fortune cookies. There's like wisdom in there. Like the master is the one who writes the fortune on the fortune cookies and puts them into these cookies, and he's like, oh, it's just a computer, like
just a computer in the back, just printing them out in bulk.
Which I was like, this is amazing. Like, and they had these three dudes be like, yeah, dude, like. We're just selling cookies. Like, come on.
Yo, this part is probably one of my favorite parts. This is what I remember at the end, and it may be the corniest part of the movie. It's literally at the end after Show Enough he's had the glow now. Like no one knew, okay, because Bruce Lee was trying to become a master so he can get that glow. No one knew that Show Enough.
But all the way, by the way, you don't know that it's a real thing because
you don't know.
Because his actual master, his teacher, is like. You realize he keeps tricking him, and you're like, this guy.
It looked like he was making it up as he went along too.
I was waiting for the glow to be real because there was that song. The song.
Oh, the song.
Got that glow. You got the glow. I was like, yes, okay, I'm ready. I can't wait for the glow.
So dope.
Cannot wait for the glow.
I did not know the glow.
I also saw the trailer before watching it. He has the glow. He has the glow in the trailer.
I didn't see the trailer.
So I was just waiting for. I was waiting for the glow. I was like, oh, this is a real thing that he's gonna get.
I mean, because his teacher is like, when you become the master, you'll know because there'll be a glow around you.
But the thing I didn't know, because the trailer doesn't quite give this away, which is that Show Enough has the glow too.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that.
And they talk about so I guess it's a different movie if you know that the glow's a real thing and you're like waiting for him to achieve this. It's a different movie when you know that.
Yeah, but you don't know what the glow is.
But when Show Enough had the glow, it made him it legitimized him for me because I'm the whole movie I'm watching and I'm like, Shonuff is a clown. He's like a clown. Like I don't get. But then
Even
it's
when
like
he's beating people up the entire movie.
the beating of but he feels like a
clown.
cartoon character.
He is a cartoon character.
But then he has the glow, and I'm like, oh shit! Like he's a formidable opponent. Like at the end.
Well, I tell you what's so funny about the glow is like before I feel like. When I no, but hold on. When I think about the glow, right?
Braylock
the thing about it is that
hands.
it feels like the glow is just supposed to be like him becoming a master, which his teacher was kind of saying throughout the whole movie.
Exactly.
Like, you don't need to be a master because you are
You
one.
are
It's
a
kind of
master.
thing.
He was like,
No,
look
see,
inside
you guys
yourself.
thought it was a
Yeah.
metaphor.
Yeah,
It's
you
real.
guys thought it was a metaphor.
He's like, open this fortune cookie, and you'll find your answer. He opens it, there's nothing in there, and he's like,
Because he's the man. And
It's basically wax on.
at that point in the movie, I was like, of course
doesn't
there's
know
nothing,
that?
because he's the master. And then I was like, he's gonna get the glow. And then when he got the glow, I was like, I can't wait for him to catch a bullet in his mouth.
Yo,
I can't wait. And then
oh my
he did
goodness.
it.
It's like it's like the Karate Kid. It's like your wax on, wax off. It's like this isn't helping me, but then when he gets in the fight, you realize like it's there the whole time.
See, so you thought it was extraneous at the time, but it comes
all
full circle.
well, you think it's extraneous because it's mentioned extraneely.
And they make sure you don't forget.
They
that
just
this glow is
say, he just
important.
says in the beginning, like, he doesn't say, like, when you get the glow, you'll have the power of lightning.
Well, first of all, like,
The glow, you'll see
No,
it
when
in
you
a
become-
in a fake CGI.
no,
illustrated.
But they do say that you'll. He says
you'll see a
your
glow.
he says you'll see a glow. Your body will be like either your body will be engulfed in a glow, or your body will be. You'll see it. It'll be a physical.
Yeah, so basically the glow is like
You
that,
know.
you know, that cheap, like, drawn on.
Why
That,
the hell
like,
you don't
dope-
call it
that-
cheap? This
it's 1985,
bro.
baby.
That was some technology.
Yeah,
So
that was the
Shonuff
height
is
of
like
technology at
actually
the time.
glowing like a red
true.
glow.
It's true.
And when he fights, like little sparks come out of
yeah,
every
Shonuff.
punch.
And I personally, I was like, man,
Yo,
how they could have got more mileage out of once he got the once Bruce Leroy got the glow, they could have had more mileage out of the fight. Like that could have been a harder
hold on,
fight.
but what makes it funny is that when Bruce
the
Leroy
fights in
gets
this
the
movie
glow,
are terrible.
right? Shonuff's glow starts going out so much so that it starts making the spark like the like the sound like you know it's
it's
about
out
to
of
go
power.
out. He ran out.
Which it didn't make any sense. Like, why?
Yeah,
Why
how
did his
did-
glow go
no,
away?
They said
Because
something
Bruce
like,
Leroy's glow is more powerful.
What is
That's
the
why.
glow?
Well, let me tell you
Anyway.
it's so interesting. Hold on, sorry, but like, and I'm not going to pretend. I'm
I
not going
just
to
want
pretend to know
somebody to
everything.
explain the glow.
But when I think about this glow, I think about like I don't know if people watched how many people watched like Magna growing up or like Dragon Ball Z. But for instance, if you think about Dragon Ball Z, when you level up like in martial arts, like for instance, he's Super Saiyan, but you only have it for like a time, like you have it for a time limit because your body drains.
It's so much
And
energy.
so technic.
Your hair goes blonde.
So Shonuff,
Your hair goes blonde. So Shonuff
was just experiencing
He
it longer.
Vegeta it.
Yeah.
He became Vegeta too early. He used it up. But then
Vegeta too
Goku,
early.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Bruce Leroy was like,
Oh
oh,
my
time.
God.
I'm going to take my
And
time.
This is beautiful.
I'm
Yep.
going to level up.
Yep.
I'm going to come Super Saiyan on you.
Exactly.
But in
I
a
also
very
love how
Goku
we're just
style,
meshing all Asian cultures together.
no.
Freaking Japanese anime, come in with the Chinese
Well, listen,
martial
I'm
arts.
thinking, I'm just
Or
thinking
in
of like,
Super Mario Brothers, if he gets a star, that's
gets
it.
a star.
Also,
I'm trying to relate to everybody.
Also, did y'all peep the Japanese flag on Shonuff's shutter shirt?
Yes.
Well, you know
Why did he
why?
have that?
It was
Why?
it's a call. It's a freaking little because Bruce Lee is Chinese and he's always fighting Japanese people because
Yo, he has
the
shutter shades
Japanese
on.
are the bad guys.
But, you know, this movie's deeper than I thought.
Thank you.
My man had on
What
shutter
we're trying to
shades.
say is it's a deeper movie than you
So
think.
Shonuff was Japanese.
My man
His
had
name was
shutter shades.
Shonuff, like Shogun, but Shonuff.
Shonuff.
I mean, that's
he was
historical
Shonuff.
conflict.
He was Shonuff, the Shogun.
He was
He
Shonuff
was
the
showing up
Shogun.
the Shogun.
I didn't even make that connection to Shogun.
Oh, really?
He calls himself. He's like Shonuff.
Well, that was his
But
outfit was
didn't
kind
think
of like
it-
a Shogun.
I didn't think of it in terms of like Chinese Japanese.
Oh,
relationship.
100%.
Oh, yeah. I was like, oh, this is... Dude, the moment I saw this movie and
Do you
saw...
just like this movie more?
I do now.
Wow.
I didn't think it was
Somehow
possible.
I made you like the movie more.
Look, I thought I had
don't
the
know how-
red glow for this movie. Now I got
the yellow glow, bro. Hey, listen, level up, man. That's what I'm gonna say to y'all in
Yeah.
real life. When y'all out there in real
Level
life,
up.
level up.
We haven't really talked at all about Vanity.
I knew you were gonna bring it up.
Wait, we need to talk about this
or
terrible bad
Eddie,
guy.
Eddie
Arcadian.
Eddie Arcadian.
Eddie Arcadia, who's like, I guess the director was like, hey, can you be the most cartoonish villain that has this
It
ever
was great.
graced?
I'm sorry, it was great.
There was a line I have
was
to write it down.
great.
He literally, when he's asking Vanity to, Oh no, he William H. Macy's in this movie.
William H. Motherfucking Macy.
William H. Macy's in this movie. Cole from I'm not even calling him by character name.
Cockroach.
Cole. Oh, you bring it up. Oh, fine. Cockroach is in this movie, and Rudy.
And
And Rudy's in this movie. Rudy's in
that's right, Rudy.
Pulliam.
But yeah, but like he like calls because William H. Macy's character is like, Vanity, you gotta do it. You gotta let this guy. He's a bad guy.
You
And she's
gotta do
like,
it.
She's like, get away from me. And so Eddie calls him and he's like, what do you mean? She said no. Nobody turns down
And you're like,
Arcadian invitation.
it's
Nobody.
insane because you're like, aren't you just like a movie producer, like a music producer? Like, what are you doing?
No, he
He's
is
a
their version
video
of
game queen.
He's their version
king.
of a Bond film. He has He has piranhas, or we think they're piranhas.
We don't know
what's in the
in that
tank.
tank.
Guess
That's
what?
green water. This tank of like
Green water.
murky
Green water. They put. Oh, that's weird. What happened?
I don't know.
They put a They put everybody heard that too, by the way. They put like a huge chicken leg or something or turkey leg
Yeah.
into the water. It comes out. It's clean, and you're just like, okay, so I guess he has like a shark or piranhas. Never comes back.
No, but not when he dunks his head. Nothing happens to him.
Yeah, when he does that, he's like,
nothing
get me out of
happens.
this water. And you're
but
like,
then
what?
it never. I was just like, for that once. That's why you established this thing.
Yeah, I think
There were no
course.
stakes to it. You're right.
For that one
Of course,
scene.
that's
even
why.
when the thing. He's like, I got a job for you, and he's like, the tank. But he never uses the tank. Did you peep that?
I would have
He's
loved
like,
if
the
they stepped
tank.
it up.
They never
and,
use it. It's
he's
never a part of the
supposedly a
plan.
mogul in this movie, but his downfall is something so small time. Right? He's trying to get his girlfriend on a video.
Yeah,
He's just trying to get his
just
girl
wants to
on
get
this
It's, it's not small time. If we take a look back at a movie we previously reviewed, Dope. ASAP Rocky's character Dom says, "Hey man, it's about the principle. Because if I let you do this, then now I'm making a slippery slope for everyone else. If he allows Vanity,
it's literally just that she said no.
The thing is, if he's supposed to be as big as he is, if he allows Vanity to say no to his girlfriend, who he's trying to, every dude does. He's trying to show
He
up to
has
your girlfriend.
to kill her.
Hey, bro, he didn't want to. He didn't want to at first.
Now-
He didn't want to. He was like, he brought her over. Was like, hey,
The whole thing, though, is that
slippery slope.
to his girlfriend, but his girlfriend doesn't give a crap. And his girlfriend...
Yeah, she doesn't even want
And then they have... again, it's so random because there are really great scenes in this movie, and they come out of nowhere. Because most of this movie is terrible. I don't care what any of you guys say.
Man, I can't.
But
I
this
can't.
scene,
It's so
this
fun.
scene is amazing because she just is like, hey, is this for me or is this for you?
It's so great. It's
And like
so
she
great.
basically just like breaks down like you're so mean to me. There's the only reason you're doing this is for your own
Ego. That's
your
it.
own ego, just like you did it with the fighter. Once he lost the first fight, you didn't care about him anymore. You only care about yourself.
It's so good.
And then he's like, oh yeah, well the only reason you're here is because you got big tits. And she's like, these big tits helped you. Peace. And she,
And she
leaves.
walks out. And she walks out.
I was like, that's the baddest scene ever.
You know, my wife just, went in and out of this movie. She didn't like it either. She saw that one scene. She's like, feminist.
Yeah. I mean, but that's dope. I mean, even when you think about Vanity too, when they say in this movie, yes, she's like a damsel, but like, she's not weak in this movie though.
Not at all.
They didn't
No,
make her
she's
weak.
not.
in this
Vanity
movie.
is amazing.
She's an
in this
entrepreneur.
movie.
She is like, I mean, clearly they're copying American Bandstand. Like a black woman in the 80s, even the thought of her, like she ran her own show. You know what I'm saying? She was up there messing with the boards at one point. I'm
Yeah.
like, bruh, show him some moves, Vanity. Show him some moves.
Yeah,
So
no,
when
it's
she
great.
first sees him in that little rice patty hat,
She
and he's
was
just like smiling, and
she
I'm
looks
just
at
like,
him like,
That part is amazing.
no, it's not.
That part's amazing. You know that part's
The connection was
Why
there
why
from the
did she just look
beginning.
at him and go, who's this little tiny boy looking at me
No,
like a
because
dum
then in
dum?
the next- because
he
then
must
in
be
the-
on the spectrum scale.
Stop it! Stop
saying the
Because in the next scene, he protects her, and it's amazing. But then to comment on how she's not a damsel in distress, she doesn't go like, I need you. She goes, oh, I can hire you to be my
Yes, I'm gonna hire you.
Let me hire you to be my security because I guess I need security.
And he's
guard.
like, I can't help you. And then she's
like, think about
And then
it.
his friend's like, oh, he's a little hot. He's a little sick right now. He said he can't have, he's a little. I thought that dude was so funny.
hold on. What was it Glenn? Is that the character's name? The student who pretended to
Johnny.
Johnny. Johnny was such an interesting character to me.
He's so
because
funny.
He was so funny. And at
What
one
happened to
point,
that dude?
I couldn't tell if Johnny was Asian or white at one point until he said later on in the movie, like, Oriental.
He said, he's not here, but how about a medium-sized Oriental?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I was like,
medium-sized
I was on the fence. I was like, I was like, he's got to be. But then I was like, oh, okay, clearly. Okay.
Wait, you didn't know he was
Also, like,
Asian in the beginning of the movie?
I
He talked
didn't
about.
know a fish. I didn't know a fish because I felt like I didn't hear him say it or like anyone address it.
Yeah, in the
until-
beginning, he talked about the fact that like people are scared of Asian people, and that's why he always was.
Yeah, that's why he's always like, like,
And yet, though, at the end of the movie, all of a sudden,
he's
He's the greatest martial
he's
artist.
the greatest martial
just
artist.
amazing.
Because
He
he
saved Bruce
studied,
Leroy.
and Bruce Leroy said, no, to be a good martial artist, you have to accept the fear and like step into it. Because
Yeah.
he didn't want to get in the fight. It's just like Karate Kid. I'm gonna keep bringing up Karate Kid because everyone says how great that movie is, and half that movie was bullshit. And it's like,
Just
oh,
half?
I mean, no, but I'm saying, like, for this movie to be so great, it's like all Eddie studied, and it's like, oh, just
Damn, dude,
apply
this dude
yourself,
didn't act.
you know.
Didn't
Can
get
we
to act
also
any-
talk about
he
how
was so good.
Eddie
He
Reyes
didn't
is
do
in this
squat.
movie.
Ernie
Reyes
Reyes
Jr.
and
Ernie Reyes Jr.
and
is
was
in
a
the
fight coordinator or
His
something,
name
right?
is Glenn Eaton, the guy who played Johnny.
What was also
Didn't act in anything else after this.
But Ernie's in this,
Just
though.
like-
Ernie, my
Yeah.
man, is in this.
Yeah.
Ninja Turtle, shout
was,
out.
He was amazing.
Oh,
Yeah.
he was great.
He was
even
a
as
black belt
kid.
when he was 9.
I mean,
Yeah.
He was serious.
He was
Wait, who was
legendary.
Ernie?
He
Ernie,
was
the
he was
little Asian
the little
boy who-
Asian kid
Oh my God.
who was
Yeah.
also in Turtles 2 and also in the Rundown.
Wait,
Shout
so
out.
that was,
He was,
Junior
yeah.
was in it, and
Junior.
Senior was a
Senior-
fight coordinator on
Yeah,
it, right?
his dad
So
was a
that
fight
was
coordinator.
he destroyed. It was amazing.
They're both
I
incredible.
mean, it was
real,
it was
martial
silly.
artists.
There's basically this huge fight scene at the end, and then this kid who's just been introduced as Johnny's little brother, right?
in.
Brother,
Yeah.
right?
He comes in
comes in,
dressed.
and then he just starts kicking grown
just-
men's butts, like
it's
as if the movie was
amazing.
the Three Ninjas. Like I was just like,
it was straight
made
up
me-
Three Ninja
and as I
style.
was watching it,
He
I
was
was
in
like,
Surf Ninjas.
He
Yes, he
was in Surf Ninjas.
Yes, he
I was watching this, and I was like. How silly must those Three Ninja movies be if I went back and watched them?
They're
to see
silly,
these tiny
but they're
kids
amazing.
just beat up grown
By
men.
silly, you mean amazing.
Tommy, was it Rocky loves Emily? Rocky loves Emily. Yo, that, yeah, you play. Hold on, wait.
Okay, let me just say one thing. I've never really studied martial arts. I've never really loved it. But if I knew martial arts, I would be so evil.
Oh,
You would give
I would
into
go
it.
the other
no, man,
way.
you got
You would
You
be
would be
shown
just
up.
using
would
your
be.
abilities at all
Yeah.
times.
They would teach
At all times.
You would learn to not. You would learn.
No,
okay.
no.
You would learn to
Ken
only
knows
use
himself.
I know myself.
You would learn.
It would be evil.
You would learn.
Can we
Well, hold on.
please? Okay.
I want to talk about
I
Asian
probably
actors
would
right
be
now.
That's
too.
what I'm saying.
We haven't talked about Asian
probably
actors.
would
Let's talk about
too.
the fact that though, as
Like-
much as I liked all the Asian characters in this film, thought they were all great. They freaking had to be in a martial arts film, even if they weren't doing martial arts, which
Yeah.
most of them did. And then it was just like, do they get to do anything else? No.
They can't even do it. I mean, even if people right now.
That dude Glenn was so funny in this movie.
He was great. I mean,
he was
Ernie is great.
he was better
He was.
than
The supporting character stole this movie.
they stole the movie completely.
because they had personalities. No
Yeah.
offense.
no, because what's his name?
None taken.
But the thing that's so interesting is
Yeah,
like,
he's not good at
yeah.
it.
but now we live in a world, right, where like now we have the hashtag starring John Cho. Like we have these things where like Asian actors are still fighting to get roles, and it's like nothing has changed. This came out in what 1985.
1985.
Like I feel like now you wouldn't even at least Glenn played the best friend. I feel like now you wouldn't even get an Asian dude or Asian woman being the funny best friend anymore. Like what
Well, they'd be like the wacky, like
tech person at the place.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like the
Yeah.
nerdy, wacky.
But I'm saying in a
friend.
movie
Yeah.
though, does that even exist in movies? Like, what Asian actor is the funny sidekick now?
Right.
Or like John Cho, who
What's
people are
the-
saying needs to star in more movies, isn't even in a bunch of movies.
Right.
Yeah, and he's a credible love interest by any
Credible.
imagination.
I mean,
and,
Sophie was
and
a great
so
show.
Is,
People hated on it.
is that actor
No,
Sung
Sophie-
Kang from Fast and the Furious
Oh,
franchise?
yeah. Wait, like he got killed out of
Oh.
Fast and Furious. Spoiler.
Yeah, that's a huge spoiler.
It's actually not because he died in 2002.
Is that the dude?
So clearly it is 2016.
Oh, wait,
he's not-
isn't there another?
No, he is, but the movie's so convoluted. They brought him back, but he already was dead, so it had to catch
Yeah,
back up
because
to
the order is out of
Yeah,
the
it was
movies
out of-
come out
yeah.
not in chronological
So he
order.
died a long time ago.
Yeah, the movies are. There's a website
it's like
you can
Star
go to. You can see
Wars,
the order.
Fast and
Yeah.
Furious.
So he died like while we were probably still in high school. So
Wait. The character.
the character did.
yeah.
But the actor's in a lot lot of those movies.
He's in,
Yeah.
Yeah, because the movies are all out of order.
All right.
He's in like
Anyway,
6 out of the
I'm
8
sorry. I don't
movies.
want to go down the Fast and Furious.
We can talk about it if you want.
But he's in the
Number
G.I.
8's
Joe.
coming
There's
out.
a short film.
Is he in G.I. Joe?
Is he that the same actor who's in the G.I. Joe?
No,
movie?
that's not him.
Wait, what?
It
Wait,
was
Did you
me.
think he was Snake? Not Snake Eyes. What's the all
Yeah,
white
who's
dude?
Snake Eyes?
Snake Eyes
It's a
is
different
white
actor.
dude. Snake Eyes is a white guy, but the
Oh, not Snake Eyes. Then.
Brand, what is his name? He also was in Red
By-
2. He was in Red 2. He was in
Yeah.
he
By
plays-
Hun Lee.
Yeah, he plays the white ninja. What's the white ninja's name in G.I. Joe?
It was
Storm
Shadow.
Storm Shadow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man,
Storm
y'all bringing
Shadow.
me back real quick.
Storm
Yeah.
Shadow.
I didn't see either of those
But
movies.
that
that's
actor
bringing
in
me
the
back.
Fast and Furious movies, he had a love interest.
He did. Who is now Wonder Woman?
Exactly. Yeah.
Who's now
Yeah.
Wonder Woman?
And that was completely believable. I think everyone can buy that.
Can I ask you a question? I'm not trying to get you in trouble, but when you see breakdowns, how many breakdowns come with? I also want to say is open ethnicity, right? How many roles do you see for Asian actors or actresses, like actors, period, just come up?
I think it's specifically few. But I think people now can tailor roles towards specific actors.
But do you think you even need to? This is my thing. When I see those open ethnicity roles, like even if it's like a black person or a Latino person going in for it, do you think? I feel like it shouldn't have to be anything specific to have an Asian guy in it. Like when I think of John Cho, I don't think like, oh, I need to write because he doesn't have like some accent. He's American based.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like, can you submit? Like, do people actually just take submissions for just like regular Asian dudes in these movies because they just don't exist? They're not leads. When's the last Asian lead we had in a movie, yo?
Asian lead in a movie
In
that
a studio,
wasn't.
in a studio movie.
That wasn't like.
I even take if it was. I even take it if
Yeah.
it was like.
If it was like
I take even one.
I mean,
in a studio,
I guess it's just Jackie Chan and Jet Li.
When's the last time Jackie
right.
Chan and Jet Li made a movie?
Yeah, it's been, the one
yeah,
right.
it's been martial arts
was his
based.
last
The
film.
one-
What? I
It
was
has
in
to
high
be.
school when the one came out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but wasn't that the last big one that he?
No, they
that
were
was
both
high-
in
no, no, no.
Forbidden Kingdom, even though I guess technically they weren't the leads in that.
No, it was
When
a
was
kid.
it?
It was a kid that was the lead of that movie.
And
The one is just the last one I remember because that's back when I was.
Yeah, look, if it's not martial arts based, I can't think of one right off the bat. And maybe someone will tweet at you.
oh
and-
wait, but this is also
Yeah,
if we
tell
don't
us.
count Keanu Reeves. We always forget about.
Oh yeah,
Keanu.
we always forget about
forget
Keanu
about
Reeves.
him.
Keanu
Yeah,
Reeves,
yeah.
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
My girlfriend has also noticed this, and she doesn't get a lot of she doesn't see a lot of casting
This
calls.
dude
My
is
girlfriend
the
has
guy.
noticed that like for Asian women, it's like
Wait, she's an actor too?
Yes,
Got it.
and it's
Missed
like nudity. It's always like will be seen shirtless, or like it's always like it's stuff like they're always sexualized. Do you know? Have you noticed that? Too, in
Interesting.
Breakdown?
That Asian women are sexualized
That's
more
what
so
she's
than other
noticed.
women.
They could. They're more love interest at times, right?
Yeah.
More so than the other way around. You rarely
Definitely.
Yeah.
see the Asian guy being the love interest. But one thing that happens on these breakdowns that you guys talk about is certain things you just know which roles are going to be which ethnicity. Even
Right.
if they say all ethnicities,
Even if they say-
there's a role, another
Yeah, you,
role
like,
within
read
it
the
that says,
description.
all right, we're looking for a black guy, we're looking for an Asian.
Yeah, then they
yeah.
want all ethnicities to be white.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Like it's
Right.
not going to. They're not going to have 3 Asian dudes on the show because then it's going to be an Asian show.
unless it's specifically
Unless
fresh
it's-
off the boat.
unless
but
it's fresh off the boat.
otherwise, it
Is
probably
crazy
won't
because
happen.
Oh,
they
well-
got grief on Fresh Off the Boat at one point too.
That's
for
all.
what?
Randall Park is in movies, but he's never the
Yeah,
lead.
he's never the lead of
And he
that.
just started getting into him. He's like, and the thing is, he's so good. The thing about Randall
so
Park,
funny. Holy
Randall
crap.
Park has such small roles sometimes. I think his biggest role in a film was in The Interview.
Right, where
and
he
it's
played-
like, man, he deserves.
then
he deserves.
I know.
He deserves.
I know.
So
He
much
was in
better.
such a small role in what was that movie? where-
Trainwreck. He was
Yeah,
in Trainwreck
Trainwreck.
just for a hot second. He's
Yeah,
always
he's very funny
He was
in
in Get Him to
Trainwreck.
the Greek hot second. Constance, his wife on Constance Wu, his wife on Fresh Off the Boat, she got a lot of grief for her character on Fresh Off the Boat, and she's like, the problem is you shouldn't be mad at me. You should be mad that I'm the only Asian actress you have on a sitcom.
Yeah.
Well,
But
she got
I think
grief
she
because
brings a lot of honesty to that role
'Cause people
and
thought it was
she's,
yeah.
she's terrific in
Yeah.
that part, and
Yeah.
she's been outspoken about
Oh, everything, bro.
Asian portrayals in film, TV.
Yeah, which is like,
Yes.
she's great.
Let's talk about that too, because I I can't stand how many times when they have an Asian character in a film or in television still, they have to have like a heavy accent.
Yeah.
Like for no reason. It has nothing to do with like I love Silicon Valley. I think that's such a funny show. But they have the one dude who's Asian.
Oh,
you know what I mean? And he's just
yeah.
he doesn't even speak English, basically. And I was like, why do you need this? Why is this constant
that's
go-to
more
comedic?
Psych gag with
But it's a
computers
but what I'm saying is like,
Yeah.
to me, it's like constantly having that as a joke is like as if you only every time you included a black person, they'd just be like. They made fun of it and not another teen movie. It was like, that's the token black dude who's like, no snap. Like,
I say,
oh,
this
damn.
is what I say.
and then he walks in. He's like, "Hey man, you at this party? This is my party." Oh man, and he like leaves.
And they actually have
funny
that
is
in another
it's-
teen movie too. They have the
Right.
the foreign exchange student or something. They have like the guy who's like, just like, I don't know English.
And he's trying to have sex with the American woman. The thing's so funny. I feel like I have like a theory on it, right? And it's probably wrong, but whatever. I feel like there's so much.
theory.
I feel like there's so much.
I'll tell you if you're
Thank
right
you.
or
Let me
wrong.
know. I feel like here, especially in America, 'cause we're talking about like American movies. There's so much heat and animosity and so much history between black and white that almost every other race falls. It's almost like all the other races like fall to the wayside, even though they're there. Especially when it comes to Asian Americans, because I think an article came out in the New York Times recently about what if Asian Americans thought of white Americans the way white Americans think of black people. And this article brings up stats about like they compare the households of Asians, whites, blacks, Latinos. I think that's it. And Asians, their kids go to college, they make more money, they have less divorce rates. So technically, if you go pound for pound of like everything that whites look down on blacks for, Asians are superior to all of us, right? So when it comes to these movies, it's almost like, and it's gonna sound messed up, it's almost like Asian Americans don't exist, because it's almost like it's either because we don't recognize them as a part of this discussion of diversity sometimes. When people are like, oh, is it a black person in it? Oh, is there a Latino person in it? You know what I'm saying? It's almost like they were never considered as oppressed, which they have been, but like people always forget that existed. So like they're never, the Oscars made fun of, the Oscars that was supposed to be so inclusive, the people they made fun of in the Oscars were Asians.
Yeah,
Right.
you know what it is? Asians don't have a real voice.
Yeah.
They don't have the quote unquote cultural spokespeople that
that's
other
exactly
races and other minorities do. And again, when we talk about Asian culture, it's not just one thing. Chinese, Korean, and Japanese, they're all very different. They're different amongst themselves.
Yeah.
And there's no real unity amongst that situation either. Even though, look, Hollywood chases all the Chinese money, but they don't really want to put Asian faces in these movies. But the ones that do really well are the ones that have diverse casts.
Yeah.
But
Right.
they're still treated as anomalies.
Which is so interesting because I've realized now, because I read this article on Deadline, like now to get movies to sell over in Asia, they always will put like it'll be a small role. It started with one of the Transformers films. They'll put like one of the celebs in it, like one of like the celebs. Like for instance, if you think about I'm trying to think what was a new movie. Oh, if you think of Avengers: Age of Ultron, right? At one point, they go to like a scientist, and it's an extended period of time, and the lead scientist is an Asian actress.
Yeah.
But like apparently she's really big, like overseas, and like we put her in this movie so that you could see like they try to like help market about putting certain faces in, but not make them a big part of the movie. It's like I'm gonna give you like I'm gonna give you like 2 scenes. You know, it's like the world we live in, man.
But but it does. This sounds like a cliche, but it also does come down to how I don't think the world, like maybe the Western world. I mean, I'm talking about like I'm from some other place other than New York, but I don't think Western audiences view Asian males specifically as romantic leads. It hasn't happened in a lot of cases.
I mean, on dating apps, as we all know, you can look up the stats. The people who do the least are Asian men and black men. So that's like
Asian men and black men.
Yeah,
it's like
Asian men more so, but like Asian men and black guys don't necessarily do that well on dating sites because people do not find them.
But it's that
attractive.
whole thing we've talked about this before. But it's that whole thing of like, if we saw it more in the media, that wouldn't
be a thing.
even change that, right? Like it wouldn't even be a thing, but it's like part of it just has to do with like we see so little of it on screen
and the portrayals that we do see again are credible, right? Yeah.
So it's like, why not just do that?
I'm curious to see what's going to happen after what's happening now and this whole John hashtag, because it's so funny because every movie poster they've put his face on fit. Like it's just like
you're putting a lot of stock in that little Twitter campaign.
But the thing is, Twitter changes so much.
But you're right.
Bro.
It has like 5,000 followers or something.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Dude,
like
that's not true. Have you looked it up? No offense. I'm not trying to be.
I'm just saying. I don't have to look at. But the fact that I would have to look it up shows you that it's not that big. I look at the things that are trending all the time.
That is not true at all.
Ken just said that part of it is that there isn't a voice, that there isn't like one voice, right? And I remember just before that hashtag was started trending, there was the My Yellowface story, and I'm not sure when that started, but my girlfriend was just at like a symposium that was like talking about that stuff, and then that night that hashtag started to develop, and it was literally talking about like, we don't have this voice, and then this hashtag started trending. So it's almost like
social media is effective.
It's like, we don't know what that voice is, but this is a start to having that.
Well, I know, but what I'm saying is that this has happened again and again and again, and those types of things we've written articles about these things about a bunch of times, and they're still not putting.
I think it's different.
Asians
right now.
in leading roles.
I know
it's not like they're not even in. It's like television, let alone freaking movies. I understand what you're saying,
but I think right now, there's been so much heat, so many symposia, so many people talking about like Constance. Like there's so many actors, there's so many like hashtags that now it is a thing of like, this is a big deal. People are finding a way to speak out about it, and now it is a conversation piece. Just like when SNL needed to get like a black woman on the show, it started from articles and from Twitter, and that's what's happening. I know it's not the greatest, but it's starting. So it's like fucking feed this fire, yo.
Yeah. Well, also there's a lot of fear, I'm sure, amongst a lot of Asian actors where look, there's so few roles to begin with. If I speak out, I'm not even gonna get this little. But
yes, I mean, but
Constance Wu is actually pretty fantastic because she's on a hit show, and she's unafraid to speak what's on her mind.
Exactly, and like in that, and we've said this before too, is that like that's the biggest problem is that, right? Is that like there are so few roles, and that's a problem. And then when we recognize that it's a problem, we want to speak out about it. But then if we speak out about it, then like we don't have those small roles, right? It's like we can't even get those small, and it's
right because people say, well, I mean, who are they going to find? There's nobody there anyway.
And it's like no, diversify, expand it. There's more,
Yeah, Constance. Should have a movie by now.
Do you think that? Well, do you think that Doctor Strange will not do as well at the box office? Do you think this controversy will affect their box office at all?
Well, here's my take on stuff like that and Scarlett Johansson.
Oh my goodness,
Ghost in the Shell. Look, I think it's easy to cast someone like Alden Ehrenreich as Han Solo because Star Wars is the biggest franchise in the world, and the average person wouldn't know who he is. He's a fantastic actor, but the average person doesn't know who he is, and so he will automatically become a star based on this.
Mm-hmm. What's he been in?
And
he was in Hail Caesar.
He was great in Hail Caesar.
He killed.
And but the flip side is how people say for a role like Ghost in the Shell, there aren't Asian actors, female actors who are big enough to do this, and it sounds counterintuitive. I don't think I throw out racism when it comes to that as easily as maybe I should or as other people do, but I do think it's based on fear in the business where, look, if this movie if Ghost in the Shell bombs on the back of Scarlett Johansson, that's
nobody's blaming Scarlett Johansson.
No, I think they will blame Scarlett Johansson.
Now you blaming it on,
but the people behind it kind of. It's more acceptable that you failed on the back of a real movie star, whereas who's going to take the chance of a failure on a nobody and lose their jobs?
See, but that's still tricky in itself because if it fails on Scarlett Johansson, like now Scarlett Johansson, her and Jennifer Lawrence are probably the biggest female movie stars we have that make money. So it's like if she fails in a movie that she's leading, now yes, we get it. Like we love the Asian actress being in that film, but now the leading women actors have taken a hit now. So it's like now, like
Yeah, and look, the folks who greenlit that movie on her name and all that, that's it's easier to swallow.
yeah.
Rather than taking a chance on an unknown person. But I think the whole name thing is also just relative because Margot Robbie had that offer before her, I think.
Yeah. Did she?
And she's not nearly as famous as Scarlett Johansson in a widespread way, but she's fantastic and she's
She's getting
clearly
there.
on the up.
And getting there.
I mean, think about, but the thing, even,
But they wouldn't break an Asian actor.
But like
for
you
it.
said,
they
this
wouldn't-
dude,
they wouldn't
that
break
dude,
anybody.
Alden, what's his name? Alden what?
Alden Ehrenreich.
Come on. I mean, Hail Caesar, please. That's not even, that's in terms of Coen Brother movies, that's not the most popular Coen Brother movie. And,
Yeah.
I mean,
and
the fact
Coen
that
Brother
he even
movies
got-
don't even
yeah.
make that much money to begin with.
yeah, I mean, look, we talk about it all the time. It's like they will break a white actor. Be like, oh, you.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen. I mean, Ghost in the Shell it was such a chance because that has so much history based on that magnet itself. It has so much history. It was just so rich.
I mean,
and people wanted it.
And it's like they've done it before. They did it with Dragon Ball Z.
And they added
did
the
it
dude.
with,
Dragon Ball
They added the
Z.
dude. What is the dude? He wasn't big. The dude from
Not at all.
the Showtime show.
Justin Chatwin.
Justin Chatwin.
I remembered him and he was in like War of the Worlds.
Dragon
Yeah.
Ball.
Oh yeah, the son in War of the Worlds
Yeah.
who somehow
Dragon Ball
lives.
Z.
Whatever.
Yeah, I know.
Why are we?
No, but I'm saying like
The Last
he-
Airbender.
What are we
It's
doing?
like they don't even try. Though.
Hollywood. What are we doing?
No, but
This
again,
is ridiculous. This is
Modcap.
ridiculous.
Did you read about the Modcap? They
it's
tried to make
easier
him
to
Asian?
swallow
No,
on
no.
the backs of that kind of situation than than sticking your neck out for for diverse lead.
But it's like it's disgusting, honestly. Like because of the way that the exception happens for other things. It's just like I can't accept.
I gotta go on a Paul Mooney rant right now.
Please.
We live in a world where the last samurai was white, the Prince of Persia was white, the kings of the kings of
But wait,
Egypt
but
were
God's
white.
Last Samurai though was.
I know, it's supposed to be silly.
That's the only one that's different.
It's supposed to be silly.
Prince of Persia. Though.
I know.
It's supposed to be silly. Though.
It's the name.
It's the
I think.
name.
Let him go. Let him
Okay, all right, keep going. Keep
It's
going
the
on your
principle.
rant. No, keep going on your rant.
My thing is, you had a movie with Ghost in the Shell, and like literally, and they didn't even deny. The studio didn't even deny doing motion capture on Scarlett Johansson because they were like, "Oh, it wasn't for her to make her more Asian. It was for some of the background actors. We're just testing out things." The mere fact that you even tested to give anybody Asian features is an issue because you have a movie where the general's name, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce because I don't want to butcher it, but they don't even give Scarlett Johansson that name in the movie. They don't even give her the name anymore. They took the name away and gave her a rank.
I mean, and they were gonna do this is not the same thing at all. But Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles got all that backlash because of
Oh, the Shredder was white.
and then they were like, okay, we have to fix it, and they
Oh, but did you read that was real though? Like they shot the movie, so
and then they had to like go back.
Yeah, the Shredder, if you're watching the Turtles, is not a white guy. In the new reboot, he was white. So people got so upset, they went and did reshoots, and people are like, why is it this white dude, and then like the Shredder just standing there, he doesn't talk? Because they had to go back and just shoot those scenes and just add a person in to be the Shredder, so people wouldn't think that like they made him a white guy. And it's
I
like,
totally missed this whole thing.
what?
I totally
if you watch the
missed
movie,
this.
if you watch the movie,
Yeah.
it's like you're like, why is this dude Stax? Because clearly Stax is the bad guy, and Shredder.
Right.
I think you see him with his helmet off. Do you even see his
you
face?
see a couple times, but you don't really see his face.
So now in the new one, the sequel, they casted an Asian actor for
Yeah,
a role
yeah.
because they didn't have like it's like you took.
because it's like, what do you
Because they
do?
don't care. They don't
because
care.
what are exactly and stop it.
It's just it's so
her.
simple
Have
to
a
stop this.
backbone.
All right.
Right.
And I'm
look,
sorry. I'm
but-
sorry.
But you know what? But some
going long.
people have some honesty about the situation. Remember when Sir Ridley Scott was saying, I can't get this financed
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
I didn't like how
on
he said
Muhammad
it.
so and so.
Right.
That was
It
such
was
a
pretty
rude way to
flip,
say
but
it.
he was honest, and
Yeah.
that
Right.
was an insight to how it actually works.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, if your movie's good, people probably see it.
And if it's
Yeah.
bad, it
And
no
people
matter
probably
what,
won't.
it won't.
Well, I feel
No
like-
matter who's in
Yeah,
it. No
true.
offense.
I feel like now people are like, I'm not about to support this because this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
This is
But I mean,
this is
like-
ridiculous.
Anyway.
But then to answer your question, though, I don't know if Doctor Strange's numbers are going to be hurt over the controversy. But the controversy doesn't help because Doctor Strange is a property that people aren't like, oh, we all know.
excited
We
about.
all know.
I
what,
think it might hurt.
we all know what
it might
Doctor
hurt.
Strange
I
is,
think it
right?
might.
So, like, yeah,
It might hurt
it
both
definitely
movies.
didn't help.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think this movie had a wonderful opportunity for a swirl that was missed. I don't even understand.
I'm beaten down at this point. I have no energy to fight this.
No, you shouldn't. This swirl should have happened. All right, there's a point in the movie. There's a point in the movie, and I don't do secondary characters, but I'm gonna do one today. All right, because we're talking about Asian actors, and you know what? This Asian actor should have had a swirl. All right, so Angela. All right.
Oh,
Angela,
snap. Actually, you're right about that.
Angela shows up at the dojo looking for Bruce Lee. Okay,
I thought about that.
Shows up, but she sees Johnny there. Mm-hmm. Johnny's there, and Johnny's going at it. Johnny's sitting there with that New York swag. He's like, look, I mean, you don't need him. All you need is me, right? And then she giggles. She chuckles, you know. He does a little martial arts, and she feels safe. And then what you realize is like, because she was scared. She was. She came there to get help. She did. She legit came to get help. That was the whole point of her showing up.
No, she didn't. She came to give a warning.
She came to be like, yo, whatever.
She came to give a warning.
I dropped something. So look, here we go. Here we go. So they're there, right? All of a sudden you realize there's no one else at the dojo. It's just the two of them. And at that moment, it's like, you know, Johnny isn't saying anything. Faith didn't say anything, you know, and then he does a little playful punch on the bags. What could happen is he could say, hey, come here, let me show you how to throw one of these punches, right? Like all of a sudden now they throwing punches, you know, but they're doing it in one of those cool ways where he's like behind her and he's guiding her hand and it's like, oh, it's like intimate. And she's like, oh, you're really a good teacher. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna get my own dojo one day. She's like, that's great. But he's still behind her, and then she looks up and they catch eyes, right? They catch eyes. And all of a sudden, they're standing. I don't know if you know the dojo, but the punching bag is right by the window. There's a little bit of light that comes through. It's all about light. Light is the key. All right, all of a sudden.
Light is the key?
Light is the key. Light is the key to it. Because with the light, she sees his eyes. And she's like, oh my God, you have such beautiful eyes. And he's like, thank you. Got them from my mom. She's like, oh, I got mine from my mom too. And he's like,
that's a weird thing to bring your mother into it.
No, listen, and they're like,
why would you want her to think of your mom?
All right. And all of a sudden they're like, you know what? I love that you respect your mom. He's like, yeah, you know, I respect women. She's like, my last boyfriend didn't. Okay. And he's like, he's like, that's messed up. That's messed up. And he's like, I would take care of you. I would treat you like a queen. She's like, oh my God, that other dude was such an asshole. And he was like, let me treat you like a queen right now. All of a sudden, you just see Johnny slide down out of frame.
Oh my God!
You see Johnny slide down out of frame. And then she's like, oh, and
explicit.
This is explicit. Because think about it. How she just came from an abusive relationship. She deserved to be served at that point. Wow. She didn't do anything. She should have sat back and enjoyed herself.
I wasn't expecting you to be that explicit with it.
And then you know what happened? Oh, we see his facial expressions, and then we see a smile. Cuts to the next scene. What?
Fan fiction.
So but essentially, what happens on screen is just he does the whole. He
goes down on it. He does
the whole. Wow.
He goes, and this is the beauty of it. Okay, ladies. I want to say something about Johnny right now.
This is the beauty of it.
Johnny took pride in what he was about to do. Okay, he went down there knowing I'm going my 110%. Right. I'm gonna get you this orgasm because you.
This is the beauty of the moment that I've just orchestrated.
I feel like Jerah feels like women are clapping, listening to this.
Think about it. Dudes be selfish when it comes to going down on women.
Drive
Dudes
to
are
work
selfish
right now, listening to this, and they're applauding. They just stop for a moment.
Think about how selfish sometimes men are about going down on your neighbors.
All right.
She got served, man. Good for you.
This didn't happen.
Good for you.
Good for her, man. She had a good moment.
Let us move on.
He loved it.
Yeah, we should move on.
Okay. Guess you guys don't care about women getting orgasms.
No, but
all right, ladies, if you want to think about who on the show doesn't care about your needs, I know we can look. But let's move on. Forgive me.
No, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry.
No. It's too late. We know.
But real quick, the movie Romeo Must Die.
The one with.
Can we talk about Romeo Must Die real quick?
The one with
Jet Li and Aaliyah.
And Aaliyah?
Yes, Aaliyah. So yeah,
I just watched that a few weeks ago for no reason.
It was on TV.
It was.
Isaiah Washington's in it as well. That's a good movie, right?
Actually, it's
a good movie.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, is it good?
It's not that great.
It stars DMX.
Well,
His
no,
name
he's a supporting character in it. It stars Jet Li and Aaliyah. They're the
DMX stars in the next one after that.
That's
to the grave.
Romeo Must Die is the one in the trailer where like the coolest thing that happens in the movie is he kicks the 8-ball up and then kicks it at some dude.
You know what, though?
And they fight in the Ring of Fire.
We talked about this.
Like, they showed that, and I remember being like, "What? This isn't cool."
I think this came up before on the podcast, but they call him Romeo, but they're not romantic with each other, right?
They've never.
And we were
they
just
have
talking about this.
They hold hands at the end, but that's about it.
At
But
no point.
You know what?
No
Here-
point.
Here's a little bit of a history lesson for you guys for Asian actors. Is that
snap.
in that movie there is an actor named Russell Wong who back in the '90s was supposed to be the sexy Asian,
The bad guy.
Yeah.
The bad guy, right?
Yeah. He was supposed to be it,
Russell
but you know
Wong.
what? He didn't. I don't
Hollywood
think he
said
found
no.
another, Yeah, there weren't enough roles. He was supposed to
They're
reboot
like, sorry,
Charlie
dude.
Chan back in the '90s, I think, and he was supposed to be like a sexy lead. Didn't really happen.
Hollywood, you gotta know. I just need y'all to know this. My sisters, both of them, thought Jet Li was the sexiest guy. They thought he was so
I
sexy.
mean, why not? Because he freaking.
So let me y'all just need to know what's up.
Tell him what's up,
Dude,
James.
this dude, Byung-hun Lee, is one of the sexiest men I've ever seen in my
Why
life.
is that in movies?
And he's also a huge star in Asia.
Huge star in Asia.
Yeah.
Y'all just need to quit with
And
that.
what they're
Hollywood.
gonna put him in a mask and put him in a G.I. Joe film? He is gonna be in the Magnificent Seven, though. I'm
He is.
very
He
excited
is.
for that.
You
film.
think he's gonna do
yeah.
martial arts in it though?
He better freaking not do martial arts in it.
Dude, do you think he might though? I feel like they might have him. I hope not.
I'm gonna
Well,
be
no,
so
he might,
pissed.
right?
I
Because
hope not. But do you think they might? 'Cause
No,
I
he's gonna have a gun and shoot people.
but then
He's
he
a
might
cowboy.
also do martial arts
Dude, do you think?
If
I
he
think
does
because that's Hollywood does.
You know what? There might be a kick in there somewhere. Let's be
Dude,
real.
I don't know.
No, they will have the Native Americans slinging bows and arrows, but
Denzel ain't doing kicks. If he does a kick, dude, no,
he
he
ain't
can't do a
gonna-
kick.
There'll be a kick.
Y'all don't think he's
Maybe.
gonna do it?
There's going to be a kick. I mean,
wait, time out. There's nothing. What's wrong with the kick, though?
Well, unless everybody's kicking people. No, but unless everybody's kicking people.
can there be a kick?
I don't
I'm
want
just
him doing a bunch of kicks
I
and
want him to
punches.
have guns and stuff,
I
but
want
like
him
if he
too.
gets
Listen,
if he
we
gets
will
in a
all
wait,
walk out of the-
Gerard, is it racist if he doesn't kick?
I don't know. I just don't want
He's Asian.
Just because he's Asian, he can't kick.
I just don't want him. My thing is, I'm just scared
Yeah.
he's going to come in and
Asian
do.
dude's not allowed
Hey,
to kick
I'm
somebody.
just scared
Hey,
he's going
Chuck
to be.
Norris is kicking everybody left and right.
I'm just scared he's going to
Wait,
come in
what
and
are
do
we
martial
fighting
arts.
for? Now I don't even know what we're fighting
All right, here. How about this? How about this? A kick is fine, but if there's any sort of chop in there,
No chop, no
All right, yeah, I'm
flips.
with you with there. No chop. Oh my god, in this movie, the fight scenes were so terrible in this movie. Anyway, sorry, never mind. I won't talk about that. Anyway, he was like, cha 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 cha.
I know he did. He even made the sounds too.
He was like, cha 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 cha. I'm like, yo, that karate chop ain't hurting
All I'm
nobody.
saying is he had the glow, son.
He
had the glow.
He had the glow.
son.
My man was like, hiya.
He caught a bullet with his teeth, son.
What was he like? What did he say?
Hiya. I said, you don't need to be making that sound,
He
man.
had
Ain't
the
nobody.
glow.
No, you are not exerting energy with that sound.
You got that glow.
All right, hold on, wait, man. We
Oh
got in
man,
this thing,
black
man.
people love kung fu. Okay, it's time for the cause. We rate
I don't
films not based on how well we like the movie, but how much it helped the cause of more leading black actors, and in this case as well, more leading Asian actors. Well, goodness, in films. So we give it a black fist, meaning it helped the cause fully, a white palm, meaning it was so-so, or nothing. You guys ready?
I don't know.
No, I'm not ready at all.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Actually, I
don't
thought
know.
I thought I knew, and now I don't know.
That's my rating.
All right, here we go. On the count of 3.
I'm going to wait till Ken does it.
That's messed up. You guys
you can't do that. You can't do that.
All right.
All right,
Here we go.
Oh, wait. Okay.
3, 2. I still don't know. 1. Go. Oh snap!
What is that? Ken, what is that?
That's a palm to me.
That's a palm. That's a palm.
but you're seeing the top of my head too.
No, that's a palm.
All right,
No, that's a palm.
That's a
we
palm,
got one
Ken.
black fist, 2 palms, and nothing.
Yeah.
You
The person who
abstained.
gave it a nothing was not me, Jonathan Braylock.
It was me. It was Jerah.
All right. Do you want who should start?
I'll go first.
Okay.
I gave the movie nothing because we're supposed to do this and not judge whether or not we like the movie. I enjoy the heck out of this movie. But when it comes down to other actors of color, Asian or black, this movie did not help. It didn't help. It didn't help any of them. It didn't help. It didn't help. It didn't help show enough. It didn't help show enough. It may not be on.
What
them.
do you mean? Because they didn't go
Shonuff-
off to be
what, like,
famous actors?
Shonuff was in movies though.
Yeah, but I'm talking about or like for instance the leads like even Glenn, he didn't get a bunch of roles after this, and it's like also it's not even like the actors in particular. To me, it's like the style. Like, did anyone mimic this? Did we have other like black, like Jim Kelly was in movies before this, so it was like we didn't even get other a martial arts black man after this. It didn't become a trend. It didn't become something people follow suit. It didn't get a sequel. I mean, it did make a small profit, which is great, but it's hard because I'm like, what did it do? And I can't say it did a lot. I mean, Vanity was already on the up and up, so it's like, she was already kind of in and out. It just didn't have the significance on the culture or on Hollywood that I think it needed to help propel any of the actors or even the genre of what this is. So
you're right. It probably only has a lasting place in pop culture.
Yeah, that's it.
And amongst cult classic type movies where, look, Bruce Lee, everyone knows that term. Everyone knows that name, right?
Yeah,
that
Bruce Lee,
showed
right.
up. Yeah. But
show enough.
didn't really help the actors, even though, Julius Carey, who was shown enough. He had a long career, though.
Oh, did he? Did he?
Yeah.
He's in a lot of stuff,
but not
as leading
leads.
acting roles. He's at a lot of TV. I'm looking at him now. A lot of TV.
This director directed a lot. He's directing like Arrow and New Girl right now.
Yeah.
is
After
he?
directing like
Crush Groove. He did Crush
Cooley
Groove.
High, this movie, and then he does New Girl.
Arrow
My
and
Crazy
New
Ex-Girl.
Girl. That's
Yeah.
like,
I didn't
that's
really get to
both
do a lot of movies, though.
sides of this movie.
Totally.
Like
I know.
it's
You know what though?
Very
He didn't get
interesting
to
career.
do a lot of movies. He's just mostly television.
I know, which is crazy. He directed Crush Groove, y'all.
Yeah.
He directed
and then New
Crush
Girl.
Groove. It's
And
like
New Girl.
How not no diss to New Girl, but it's like this man directed like one of the Cooley High, man. Like,
who actors who were in a lot of stuff after this? Mike Starr, white dude.
Yeah, Mike Starr.
William
Mike
H.
Starr
Macy.
is well
William H.
recognized.
Macy.
William H.
Macy.
Macy. Mm-hmm. But it's not like. But it's not
Faith
even
Prince.
like this movie is
Great
what
Broadway actor.
helped
Yeah.
them. Right? Oh,
So yeah, here's my thing. I gave it a palm because I don't know. I don't even remember the last time I gave a movie nothing. And I think it's because I feel like the movie still tried.
Yeah.
And the movie in and of itself has a leading black man, and it has like the bad guy is black, like the main bad guy is black, and there's just a lot of black actors in it. Vanity was great in it. I thought this movie
oh God, she was so good.
showcased Vanity really well. It showcased Show Enough really well. It didn't showcase what's it? My man's name to me.
You just didn't like him.
Taimak.
Taimak.
You just didn't like him.
No, he just wasn't good enough. He just wasn't good. I'm sorry.
Taimak, we gotta have you come on the
offense.
show, 'cause I know you live in New York.
No beef because
No,
you kick my butt. I know you will.
Taimak,
He
when you
will
come on the
roundhouse
show,
kick you to the face.
we gonna tell you what Jonathan said on air and see if you give him a roundhouse kick to the
we
face.
will just play it back. Just play the audio back.
His brother, they showcase people so that Hollywood could put them in leading, just because Hollywood's, like I said before, like, I'm not going to blame a movie for Hollywood being racist. Like,
But something should have happened with the brother.
something should have happened with that brother,
Yo,
man.
He should be. Oh.
But, so that's why I gave it a palm, but I couldn't give it a fist because this movie also was not great. Like, I'm not surprised that it wasn't mimicked because people saw it and was like, this is a joke, yo.
There
Like,
have been 15 Last Dragon movies.
it's like, I'm sorry, but
It's
this is
supposed to
still
get a
kind of a
remake.
joke. And
Yeah.
also the lead, like, you could have got a better lead. I'm sorry. So, man, I gave this a white palm. James?
Should I go?
I
guess
Ken kind of said his piece, I
said
feel
my
like.
piece.
Yeah.
Oh, you said your piece. Okay. Yeah, I gave it a fist
Why?
because
I'm shocked by that.
no, so I gave it a fist for a lot of reasons. One, it's the lead actor. It was his first movie, so they gave this
That's true.
this
That's a good
guy
point.
a lead
still
role
don't
in
like
his
him.
first movie.
No,
yeah,
he's
and then-
terrible. I mean, they should have taken a chance on him, but they did.
But they took a big chance.
I'm
on
glad
him,
they did.
Right?
How many white people get to star in a lead role and they're also terrible, and then they get to do 7 other
and
films,
they get to do all these other
and then
movies,
become
right?
good.
Right? Okay, so that's my first one. And then
That's true. You get that much experience, you start to become good.
We talked about Ernie Reyes Jr., who was a big part of my childhood, and granted he's only in it for a little bit, but the movie is populated with these different black and Asian faces that we get to see, and I think that and the blend of it is fun. Even you can like the movie or hate it, but that is nice to see. Leo O'Brien kills in this, and there's this role for this little black boy, and he's just great in it. And I think that that is great to see. And then I'll end on this. My boy Ray Cordova, who is
You better shout out Ray.
loves this movie, loves it, and because of the cult nature of it, he's someone who like he's an actor now, but he didn't know that that's what he was going to do, you know? And I feel like movies like, I don't know if this movie is part of why he's doing it or not, but
that's deep.
But I've talked about this for myself with other movies, that I just think that like, even if this movie didn't make Hollywood go, we gotta make more movies like this, it inspired people to be in it. And I think that like that's stuff like that is great.
I changed my answer now.
No, stop it.
James just made
No, there's no changing of answers after these 5 points.
And so yeah, so that's why I get it.
I will say this though. I will say this to give the movie a little bit of credit. In that movie theater, there was a dude in drag.
Yeah,
And they didn't make a thing about it, which is kind of cool.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And plus, the lead character was on the mental spectrum, so that's really good.
He was not on the mental spectrum.
No, I just think
Stop saying
I'm
that.
glad that they put somebody with special needs.
gotta
in
let
the,
this
you
go.
know,
Stop
because
saying that.
I'm just saying Hollywood doesn't do that often. So okay.
You gotta let this go.
All right, so
What's wrong with you?
we got one black fist, two white
Wait,
palms.
no, man.
What?
I'm changing.
Okay, great. You change it. All
I'm
right.
changing.
We got one black fist,
I'm
two
gonna give
white
it to a
palms.
palm.
Yeah, so one black is
Two white palms and nothing. All right. Good job, guys. We'll see you next week. We'll see you. No, Ken, you don't got anything to plug. You plug in Jerah
Or plug in James.
Yeah. This is just a quick plug for Ken for James III to Jerah Milligan. Hire us in something. This is a plug for Ken.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for being
Thanks,
here.
man.
Thanks,
Yeah.
guys.
We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
All right, it's time for some plugs.
Plugs.
I don't like the way you do it anymore.
What?
I'm just kidding. It's
Man, you know what? You're the girlfriend that after a while just starts looking at you and it's like, ugh, I could have done better.
So, first of all, you know the drill. You can follow us at Black Men Podcast on Twitter, Instagram, blackmenpodcast.com for some show dates and things like that. Please like us on Facebook, our Facebook fan page, and rate and review us on iTunes. It really helps, honestly. And then for me, personally, you can follow me at John Braylock, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat.
Yup.
And johnbraylock.com for some videos. What do I want to plug?
We're in the Del Close Marathon.
Oh, that's right. We're going to be in the Del Close Marathon. I mean, that's the end of June, but that's coming up.
Yeah.
You know, it's not as far away as you think. If you're in New York City, we're going to perform. We're going to do a live podcast. It was a part of the marathon. So basically, you get your marathon badge, and you can see us. You can also see our astronomy club.
Yeah.
And James, I think, is in some other stuff. I don't know.
I mean, whatever. I mean, whatever.
Yeah. Oh, right. I guess I should plug James' stuff at James Third Comedy on Twitter, and whatever the heck. Third is spelled 3RD. For whatever, James Third Comedy. And he's got like a solo show.
Yeah.
It's part of the Dead Parents Festival or something like that. You can look up jamesthirdcomedy.com. All right, you're
All right, you can follow me at Jerah Milligan on Twitter and Instagram, Jerah M at Snapchat. Check out MTV News, their Instagrams and Twitters and whatever for daily hits. And come to DCM, have fun.
Oh, I know what I can plug. There's a Decoded episode that I'm going to be in. MTV Decoded.
Right.
I don't know what it's going to be called, but it's coming out on. It came out 2 days ago.
This is the worst podcast.
I'm just saying.
So
It's about the intern. It's called like the internship or something like that.
Yeah, check Decoded.
Check MTV Decoded.
YouTube Wednesdays. Braylock's on there. He's
All
in
right.
2 of them.
That's it for plugs. And then next week we are going to be reviewing the film
Kazam!
starring Shaquille O'Neal. I Am Kazam. Go watch it. It's our live episode. It was a real fun one.
Yeah, New York Podfest.
All right. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
That was a HeadGum podcast.